What's the general dummy operation? Hey, Doug. Well. Oh, Doug. Well, hand me that guitar. Hand me that guitar, Doug. Let's get this show on the road. Here's when you'll know.
Howdy friends, it's me, Scoutmaster Demi. Let's get our music back on. Hope everyone is doing really, really well. Happy Wednesday. Missed you guys yesterday, of course, but we had some fun times with some friends. Always got to take a little R&R while we can. Hope everyone is doing super, super well. Did anyone get a chance to see that PlayStation Live? I guess it's called, what is it called? A PlayStation State of Play, I think. Kind of like their Nintendo Direct. I got a chance to see it today. I streamed it with a few people on Discord. Pretty cool stuff. That's Sonic Generations with Shadow Mode. That looks pretty fun. That's like, you know, I like Sonic Generations a lot, frankly. So, you know, doesn't take too much for me to rebuy that game. But having a whole new mode seems pretty cool. I was pretty impressed by that, I think it was called Stellar Blade. I thought that game was like kind of fun, kind of a standout. Death Stranding 2 seemed cool. I never played the original, but seemed like there was maybe an expansion of gameplay for that, which is really, really interesting. Thought Kojima would... Yeah, oh no, for real. That is... How are you, DJ Rich? Yeah, Kojima, he's a fun one, for sure. Those little puppets and things, I wasn't really sure what to make of it, but... That's right, yeah, and Silent Hill got a lot of love, too. Yeah, there were a lot of cool games that were brought up in that. I thought it was kind of interesting overall. I hope many of them do end up coming to Steam. Though, of course, I do have a PS5, so I guess I can eventually get to a lot of them, too. Never played the console generations. It was yeah, I've heard the 3DS one was very underwhelming. I love the console generations. I was a big, big fan of it. So yeah, getting that on next-gen systems and with like new content seems pretty cool to me. Very, very good stuff. Hope everyone's doing well. Great to see Retro, Cowbell, DJ Rezd. I think Dog Vader is here too, which I think is awesome. Tacky as well. Let's just hop right into more Apollo Justice. We're very close. Well, maybe not very close, but we're getting there when it comes to actually beating our first DS game. We're definitely getting there. I think I'll restart from the chapter since we didn't really get too far on this one. I really, really enjoy these games. They're basically visual novels. All right, I'll let the game play out a little bit. We got a little cutscene at first. We love you! We got a rock concert. Rock on, everyone. The party's not over yet. Get out your handkerchiefs for our special gifts. That's right, baby. The night's just getting started. Yeah, I'm excited for FF7 Part 2. I will probably not be playing it right away, but I am very excited to get to that nonetheless. I loved part 1. I was a big fan of part 1. There will now be a 20-minute intermission. Yeah, I loved part 1, so I think that's, there's a lot to say about that. I should really play and beat the original, too, though. I've played, like, disc 1 of the original, but I never beat it. I should really get to that, too. This is so cool. Last at a Gaviner's concert. Huh? Just say something? My ears are still ringing. The Gaviner's putting the sick back in music. Well, I thought Mr. Gavin was really nice, sending us those tickets at 20% off. They're hard to get a hold of, you know. When you invite people to a concert, it's usually free. You know, like we're a couple of VIPs, let's go head in the back. Trucy, you didn't even know who Prosecutor Gavin was before that case. What kind of fan doesn't even know the lead vocalist's name? He was so dreamy. Yeah, but I'm a girl. I'm supposed to swoon over gods of rock. God awful, maybe. I bought all their stuff on the way home from the trial. 12 Gaviner's albums and 15 concert videos. It's quite a bit of impulse shopping. I got an advance on my next 15 years worth of allowance. I love it. Who would imagine me here at a Gaviner's concert watching Prosecutor Gavin rock? To be honest, he was kind of cool. I'm kind of envious. Not that I'd ever admit that to Trucy. Oh, I realized I should, hold on a second. There we go. Got my A back. Ah, you made it! Mr. Gavin, thanks so much for the tickets! And the invoice you sent along with them. You were incredible up on stage, Mr. Gavin. Hey, Akira, nice to see you! Very, very, very good stuff. Akira, so nice to have you back here. Yes, we are, it's so funny. You might think we're like the ultimate Capcom fanboys. I mean, I do like Capcom a lot. But basically, as you can see down below, I'm trying to play every DS game, and I'm going in alphabetical order. So, Ace Attorney Apollo Justice was top on the list, which is really cool. Though, truthfully, I'll probably take a break from Ace Attorney the next few games. I'll probably go a little bit out of order and maybe do Advance Wars. So, looking forward to trying out those too. But how are you, Akira? Nice to have you in here. Nothing like music to brighten up the day after a trial, yeah. And we're almost ready for our next act. I'm looking forward to it myself. Lamaror... How do you pronounce this? Lamaror is singing, right? The siren of the ballad? Oh yeah, that flyer up there said she flew all the way out here for the show. That's right, I happened to catch her show all overseas. Her voice is divine. I knew I had to invite her to perform with us. Lamaror says, you praise me too highly. Whoa, who's this guy? He's huge. Allow me to introduce Mr. Romain Latousse. Lamaror's manager and her interpreter, incidentally. It is a great... He's probably Russian. It is a great honor for us to be here, and a great honor for Lamaror to be heard in this country. Yeah, some different language. That voice, I wish I could understand it. It's beautiful. Post-work nap. I love a good post-work nap. Honestly, a little cat nap now and then I think does wonders. Even like an hour, even 15 minutes can just be amazing. Oh, it's Lamaror. I'm actually meeting her. Lamaror, mysterious songstress. Her quiet, deep song glides through the air, lilting above a sparse but elegant piano accompaniment. Now this is music. She's a real artist. Lamaror says, we have long looked forward to this joint performance. Ah, Lamaror, your voice. It is art. Yet without his piano to guide me, it is but voice. I've seen this kid somewhere before. He plays piano at all of Lamaror's concerts. He's cute and he's a really good pianist. Good pianists are a dying breed, I hear. Allow me to introduce Machi Tobe. He is blind. This is why he never strays far from Lamaror. They are always together. They're like characters from some fairy tale. Lamaror is so, what's the word? Exotic. And mysterious. She does seem quite pretty, at least her eyes do. Hers is a kind of sightseeing musique. Don't let Phoenix hear about the piano. I know, I almost made a joke about that. The good pianists are a dying breed. She travels around the globe, putting the sights she sees into song. Even though her appearance and voice are exotic, her songs remind us of something close and warm. Sights into song. That's so poetic. She was gracious enough to put her music to my lyrics tonight, the Guitar Serenade. Hope you enjoy it. I can't wait. And now it is time. For the next part, we're giving the Gaviners hard rock a little rest. Lamoureux, the stage is yours. The band members will not play during Lamoureux's ballad, only Machi's tender tones and Lamoureux's dulcet voice. And my guitar, of course. Woohoo! Nights like these make it all worthwhile, you know? I should have learned how to play the guitar. There's not much romance in chords of steel. Shall we hit the stage, then? Good luck, Mr. Gavin! Take care your hearts aren't stolen away, yeah? He's a cool prosecutor. He's a cool prosecutor. Okay, I'm not gonna sing this. Wow, I love those DS graphics, though. I remember this. You watched this video so many times in this trial. Look at Clavier in the background with his guitar on fire. Oh man, so great. Thank you. Thanks, Retro. Wow, wasn't Lamoureux amazing? I even cried a little bit. I was surprised Prosecutor Gavin actually burned his guitar. Yeah, that even surprised me, and I'm not a magician. What a production. What a destruction. I don't think Prosecutor was expecting it either, oddly. He looked as surprised as I was. Is that what they call risking life and limb for art? I think he's my new hero. I'm not sure I call that art. Well, what are we doing here? Let's get going to Mr. Gavin's dressing room. There's 20 minutes till the last part of the show. How many breaks does this band need? That's a great question. The Gaviner's dressing room. What the heck was that? I was never consulted about it. Sorry, Mr. Gavin, sir. I asked the man in charge. I play new rock, not Great Balls of Fire. Speaking of fire, I have a good mind to fire whoever's responsible. He seems upset. Apollo Justice, were you the one who tried to torch me? Hey, I didn't do it. So much for risking your life for art. The guitar serenade is ruined. Well, let's try to talk to him at least. I'm not sure that's the best move right now. Yeah, he's... I like him too, Akira. Akira, what's your favorite Ace Attorney game? And maybe some of your favorite characters? You mean the guitar? That wasn't part of the act? Part of the act? Who burned up a guitar on purpose? But it worked really well with the lyrics just then. Burning on in my heart, fire, burn my love away, all away. Wait, you think the audience thought it was... Sounds like you got lucky. They probably thought it was part of the act. At least I did. That look on his face. He got lucky and he didn't realize it. Anyway, that guitar was the Ferrari of guitars. All the speed, all the sound, and all the price. If I burned one of those at every show, I'd go broke. Unusually frugal for a rock band. Try saying that to Mr. Gavin. Achtung! Today's been one disaster after another. My hog won't run. My guitar case is broken. Daddy told me there'd be days like these. Wasn't Lamoureux's song incredible? You worked on it too, right, Mr. Gavin? Ah, yes, thanks. It was a collaboration. I wrote the lyrics and she wrote the melody. You know, I was surprised she could sing in English. I'm sure she practiced a long time for this day. Ah, here. What's this? A lyric sheet, it's yours. Signed by myself and Lamorar. Yippee! Thanks so much! All I ever get to sign are client defense agreements. Ooh, Blackquill is really cool. Blackquill's really cool, Akira. I like the high school case a lot in Dual Destinies. Almost time for the third act of the night. Oh, there's more? Yes, Lamorar's part is done. Now it's time for us to drop our groove again, yeah? Hope you're ready to catch it. Woohoo! Ready, Apollo? I think I'll pass. Yeah? I like the bit with Lamorar, but the rest could use a volume knob turned way down. Ah, Apollo, you're getting old. Ah! Does 22 qualify as old to a 15-year-old? Well, I'm going. Let the old folks rest backstage, yeah? Time to rock. Hey, you're older than I am. Yeah, Dual Destinies is fun. I like Athena a lot, so I think Athena's fun. Hey, it's you, that Wright kid. Detective Sky. I'll let the Wright kid business pass. Call me Emma. There's no need for titles once it's shared a bottle of fingerprint powder. So, Emma, what are you doing here? Isn't it obvious I'm snacking? You think I want to be here? Me in charge of security in this pit? Security? Did something happen? There's no knowing with that glamorous fop. Apparently, he's all upset because something was stolen. He wanted security back here during the concert. Where do you get off acting like he's some big rock star? He is a big rock star. Hey, Yoshihine. I do actually like it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent, actually. The friendship between the three characters, that kind of stood out to me. There were, I mean, there's plot holes in a lot of Ace Attorney cases, but I thought that one was kind of cute. And I think having, like, Athena as the main character made it a little bit more interesting, too. She doesn't get enough love. Don't even think of going in there unless you want a piece of snack goose in your face. Is she ever in a good mood, I wonder? Emma? I've never seen someone eat snacks with such vehemence. Better give her a wide berth. Katonk. She snack-cooed me. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to talk to her at this point. I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to examine in these parts. An odd guitar. The design is that character I saw in the hallway, but with sunglasses. What a strange mascot. Oh, is this the Blue Badger, maybe? This might be Blue Badger. The Blue Badger. A postcard of Lamorar. I can't read a single word of the sentence at the bottom. Tracy might want one of these. I'll show it to her next time we're here. Then maybe I am supposed to talk to Emma. Yeah, she snack-cooed me. All she's doing is snack-cooing me. Should I show her my badge? Emma, should I take a look at this? What do you think? Must be a bottomless bag of snacks. Okay, so I guess there is something I'm supposed to examine in that other room. Oh, like, what's this? Some kind of headset earpiece? Why would someone leave this in the hallway? Maybe Lamorar's bodyguard dropped it? Emma! Will you stop eating those snacks for 1 second and listen? Ha! You think you're gonna pull me away from my snacks just to hear you mumbling? On and on about whatever? You're gonna be sorely disappointed. At least I got her to stop munching. I think my all-time favorite case is the final one in Ace Attorney 2. I think is that Farewell My Turnabout, I think. I think that's the name of it. The one I mean I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say that. The one with the kidnapping. I thought that one was really good. That was one that like glued me to my seat as a kid. But I also like the I think the final one in Ace Attorney 1 is really good too. Both of them actually. I mean the Edgeworth Von Karma case and also the extra case, right, with Damon Gant. Let's see. Graffiti on the mirror and lipstick. Hey, the Gaviners are all guys. Maybe Prosecutor Gavin wears lipstick. Pretty disliked. Yeah, I don't know. I have no opinion. I don't know why people would like it or dislike it, but I enjoyed it. I thought the friendship between the three was cute. It's hard for me to think of like the worst cases in most games. I feel like, yeah, the final cases usually do go pretty hard. I think, like, it's funny because I was just hyping up Ace Attorney 2. But I think the circus case is pretty awful. I think the tutorial case is pretty bad. I think the Korean Village one is pretty good. And then obviously that final case is, like, just phenomenal. I love that final case. So much. Yeah, I kind of feel like the mid-game cases are usually kind of the worst, which I guess would be the school one in that one, but I thought that one was kind of cute. What am I supposed to examine? No clues here. Like, Emma doesn't really have much to offer. Maybe the guitar case? Come to think of it, I'm a little thirsty. I'll have some tea. I think I'll get a water. If you want tea so badly, go buy it yourself. She snack-cooed me. I'll take a tea. Gaviner's guilty as charged tour poster. They're plastered all over the place. This is the concert venue. It makes sense. People like to see the poster at the concert. It's part of the experience. Again, you would think that like, little... Okay, we got the instrument case. What's that odd-looking doll? Oh, that's the blue badger. Did you try either talking or munching, but not both? She hit me with a snack. Sorry, don't speak snackoos. Yeah, I legit do not remember what I'm supposed to be examining. Emma's like me and Taki's. I like how she's just like so passive-aggressive all the time. She's pretty funny. Such a different personality from when you first meet her at in Ace Attorney 1. Doesn't hesitate to weaponize him. So true. So this is Lamor's dressing room. What was that? Was that a gunshot? Something's going on. You, out of my way. Lamorar! It's not locked. I'm going in. Well, I think you were supposed to examine the frickin' door. Lamorar's dressing room. What's that awful noise? Oh, it's the concert. It's Lamorar's manager, Mr. What's-His-Name. Latouche, oh no! Hey, you! Watch this room for me, I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want to make sure no one comes in, right? And don't touch anything, I'll be right back. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... Ugh! He's alive. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Shot. I was shot. Who? Who shot you? I don't know. Ask what? Ask witness. Witness? There was a witness? Who? Cold. So cold. Witness. You're cold. Don't worry. You're gonna be fine. Help's on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Who was the witness? The witness is Siren. Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Mr. Latouche. Yipes, Emma. What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. Could have sworn I heard a door close. The concert's been canceled. Back is on the way. Is Mr. Latouche... He's dead, isn't he? That's terrible. I lost him. Hey, Sleazy, nice to have you in here. Romain Latouche, shot. And I heard his last words. The witness is the siren. Whatever that means. The venue's locked down. We took names and addresses before letting the crowd go. Good work, Darian. I'll let you know if I find anything about the victim. Later. It's investigation time then, yeah, Fraulein Detective? I don't need some rock and rollin' prosecutor to tell me that. One request I must make. Tell no one on staff otherwise anything of this. Ooh, a gag order. No word gets out other than that Mr. Latouche is dead. No word of the cause of death or of the murder. Tell no one, not even Lamorar? Not even her. We must keep everything under wraps. Oh, and one more thing. I'll need your signature on this, her forehead. Yours too, Fraulein. An investigation request? Why just us? You two are civilians. It's standard procedure. That would be okay to sign, I think. We signed his investigation request. He's his last words to tell us that. Callous. I'm gonna start calling him Callous Bell. One tip for you. Try not to get in the Fraulein Detective's way. She's in a foul mood today. Gee, I wonder why. None of us can go home. We'll investigate, all right. On our way. Somehow I don't see us getting back to that crime scene anytime soon. Still can't believe I was there when it happened. Not an experience I care to repeat anytime soon. It's no time for navel-gazing. Let's go crack this case. She seems to have a very loose idea of what it means to be an attorney. Of course, that's not surprising considering who her father is. Something the matter? No. Let's get cracking. I'm the only one who was there. The only one who heard Mr. Latouche's last words. It looks like he wrote something, didn't he? The witness is siren. First order of business is to find out what he meant by siren. What's that? It looks like some kind of future phone. Not a phone, a transceiver. It's called a headset. What's a headset doing on the floor? What, do you think Mr. Latouche might have been wearing it? Like one of those bodyguards? I don't think he was wearing one when we first met. The LED on the thing is lit, so it must be on. I'm thirsty, Apollo. Want something to drink? How about this one? A Steel Samurai soda. In real steel favor. Oh, I'm so with you, man. The sprites are so good in this game. So good. I feel like they're even better than the, like, because I guess the other DS games would be the Edgeworth games. They're definitely better than those, I think. And you know what's funny? When I first played the original trilogy of the Ace Attorney games, I never realized they were GBA ports. I always thought that the animations and the sprites were really good and like kind of above par. But then you play this game and you're like, oh wow, actually those games were just Game Boy Advance games. Looks like an instrument case. Did I record this one? Yeah, I guess I did. Yeah, you might have it, Sleazy. The only one came to the States. Only one came to the States. The other ones were, or the other one was Japanese only. I have yet to play that one, actually. I'd love to play a fan translation one day. The stage looks empty. I was hoping to get the chance to talk to Prosecutor Gavin. Oh well, nothing to do but go to the crime scene, I guess. I think it was Lamaror's room? July 7th. Oh, it's you. I figured you'd come. You have to let us investigate the scene, please. You're attorneys, no? Shouldn't you wait until you have a client? Latouche did tell me to ask the witness, the siren. With his dying breath, no less. Doesn't that count? Glare at me all you want. You'll get no snacks from me. Please? Think of poor Lamaror. Oh, I suppose you did find the body with me. Great, let's get to it. Right. Just try not to touch anything. She's letting us look, and she's not munching her snacks. This bodes well. There are clues here, I can feel it. Leave no hanger unhung, no spot unspotted. Mr. Romain Latouche, wasn't it? He was Lamoureux's manager and interpreter, apparently. This was his first time in the country. So I'm guessing he didn't know many people here. Doesn't seem likely. Nor can I think of anyone with a motive to murder him. Except for one person, of course. One person? Who? Lamoureux. No one here might have had a motive, but she's from... What are you talking about? I said nothing. Always with the snacks. He's a big man, or was. I don't even think I would win in a fight against him. Which is why whoever it was used a revolver, I'm guessing. We've sent a request to the Bourguignon embassy for more info on him. Well, you and I know more about the crime than anyone. You do? That's true, it was us who found the body. What? I guess that's what I get for missing the concert. Hey, I wish I was watching the concert. Anything would have been better than this. Well, we know the crime took place during the concert, and when we heard the shot and entered the room, the killer was already gone. What? But that doesn't make any sense. You came in when you heard the shot and no one was here? How'd they leave the room? That window's a little too small, isn't it? The mystery of the disappearing killer. Alright, let's see what we can investigate. Ooh, look at these shots. Are these bullet holes? Looks like it. There are two here in the wall. From the looks of it, the victim was shot once in the shoulder. The first shot must have missed. But there are two holes. Wouldn't that mean two misses? The murder weapon is a .45 caliber of a revolver. It's very powerful. I believe what we're seeing here is the mark left by the second bullet after it passed through his shoulder. Sounds painful. No kidding. I wonder about that murder weapon. Yeah, and we'll eventually play that Edgeworth one too, Sleazy. We'll probably do it in a little bit. We probably won't do it. I might give it a little bit of a break. So I'm thinking of playing the Advance Wars games after this. But we'll get to that one too. This is the murder weapon, isn't it? This revolver? That's right, a big .45 caliber revolver. Wow. Wonder who brought this in here. Thought only police were allowed to have one of these. Why are you giving me that look? I didn't do it. Listen, I was out in the hall eating snack coos when it happened. I know. No one here thinks that you did it, Emma. Hard to tell with you sometimes, Apollo. Wait, if the killer brought a revolver, it must mean they planned this from the start. That's right, isn't it? I've never played any Advance War games either, to be honest. That's a body, isn't it? Sure is. The victim, no less. Let's take a closer look. No, you should go first, Chrissy, really. Would you stop bickering and get over here? Eek! Is that blood? Why don't you examine this one, Apollo? You know more about red stuff than I do. Something is strange about the blood, though. Is that what it looks like? No clues here. Hey, Kirito, nice to have you in here. Apollo, look at his hand. He's holding something. You can throw all the snacks at me you like, Emma, but sooner or later, you're going to have to run out of them. You raise a good point. I'm a bit intrigued by this scene. Let's take a look. Got to leave work early. Oh, man, what a great day that is. A keyring. Think it might belong to the killer? It's certainly a possibility. What an unusual keyring. And what unusual keys. Could be a vital clue. Leaving work early, man. That's such a great day. Hey! How do I pronounce this? Donate's Coffin. How are you? Nice to have you in here. I love the Ace Attorney games. What is your favorite Ace Attorney case? I've played all of them except for the great Ace Attorney games and except for the DS, except for the Japanese Edgeworth. Yeah, there's Dual Strike, and isn't there also another one too? Oshihine, I think there's two of them, right? The body was holding a keyring. There's like, it's like, I think Days of Ruin, I think is the second one. I haven't played either of them, but I like Fire Emblem. I think it's by the same company. Yeah, I do. I won. You know, I guess for me, it's kind of like Mother 3, where like I've just always hoped that we get an official release for it. But I'm sure the fans who translated Investigations 2, I'm sure they did a great job. The Silver Samurai is your favorite character. What about the Nickel Samurai? What do you think about him? I believe that's Matt Ungard's samurai at the end of Ace Attorney 2. I'm pretty sure it's the Nickel Samurai. What do you think about him? This is one of those things, right, at the barbers? Permanent dryer. Alright. Let's see. What else should we be looking at? We saw those holes. Jammin' Ninja the goat. Poor Jammin' Ninja. Although the two of them were kind of scumbags. I remember, what was her name? Adrian Andrews and her mentor having like a lot of issues with them. Those vain Hollywood types. It's a stepladder. Hello, Miss Fancy Pants. Excuse my lack of ladder discrimination. Concerned about why the ladder is there. To reach something on the ceiling. Still say it's a stepladder. What's wrong, Apollo? Your mouth is catching flies. Nothing. It's nothing. Maybe that's how the killer escaped. That's what you were thinking, right? When we arrived on the scene, the killer had already fled. He or she must have had a way out. And that air vent is one possibility. But it's much too small. Not if the killer were about your size, Trucy. I didn't do it! I was cutting it up on the dance floor at the time, thank you. I know. Of course I didn't think you did it. Hard to tell with you sometimes, Apollo. Hey, what have I done? Let me check, like, this door. The speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Oh, Wendy Oldbag is great. She is quite funny. I love that she was back in Ace Attorney Investigations. She's quite funny. Yeah, we love Gumshoe. He's great. Hey, Rogel Race, nice to have you. Nice to meet you. Trauma Center. You know, is it the art style? Because I know Trauma Centers definitely has like that sort of Japanese art style. I remember that game being really hard. I don't think I ever beat it as a kid. Trauma Center, there were certain points where it got really tough. So this is the murder weapon? It's incredibly heavy. It's been fired twice. You can still smell the gunpowder. That's odd. Oh, nothing. Hey, no fair, tell us. Some of this revolver seems strange. Am I supposed to examine it, maybe? Rogel, nice to meet you, though. How are you, man? Always good to have new friends up in here. Alright, I should probably use the actual touchpad for this. Yikes, don't point that thing at me. Don't worry, I'm an old hand with firearms. I have one that shoots quote-unquote bullets. I'm excited to replay the Trauma Center games. They're gonna be tough, though. I know they are. At one point, you have to defuse a bomb and fight cancer. I think there were also Wii versions, weren't there? I vaguely remember there being some Trauma Center Wii games. The middle of the weapon is a revolving chamber. That's where you load the bullets. Revolver. Sounds a bit like a Wonder Bar. I used to think that the closest sound to Wonder Bar was one liver. There's just so many words in the world, Apollo. Okay, so I guess I thought I'd have to examine this gun. But maybe not. You have to defuse a bomb and fight cancer, wow. Alright, I guess there's no examining the gun. Yeah, BN videos. I love that. What are your, are you a big BN6 PvP fan? Or just BN in general? I'll tell you, a series that I'm working on real soon is anime recaps. I almost watched the entire anime. I'm basically just missing Beast Plus. I think it'd be fun to do some video recaps because I don't think too many people have really done that. And I'd also like to do the to read the manga. I've yet to read the manga. Sorry, can't comment on anything not scientifically relevant. I'm a forensic scientist after all. Okay, I'm thinking maybe I was supposed to examine more of the blood. That's my thought. Okay, they're not letting me do more with it. Yeah, I've heard they are pretty different, Akira. We found that key ring. Sometimes investigating these games are kind of wonky. I gotta say, for better or for worse, I think the later Ace Attorney games are a lot better about, like, not spending a million years doing investigating. Yeah, is that right, Amos? You haven't read them either? I'd be really interested in checking them out. I think that'll be a fun series to do. I feel like that's true of a lot of manga series, huh? Look, there's a little window over here. Maybe the killer escaped through that. Not to mention, it only opens up a crack. What? It's just saying it's possible. Right. No harm in that. You could peek into that room from it, though, you know. Okay, so basically, it's seeming like maybe the killer shot their gun through that small little window. What an amazing bouquet. I mean, it's giant. It'd be better if this flower were a bit more... The flower fell off. I guess I need to get, like, luminol if I want to actually spray the blood. I'm trying to remember what clues, what evidence was needed. Oh, wait, hold up. There was something on the floor right there. What's this? Oh, what a pretty brooch. You're not going to say, can I have it, please, are you? Oh. Look, you may be a cute little girl of 15, but that doesn't give you any special treatment with me. Oh. It's not healthy to envy the young, Emma. It's not about envy, it's about tampering with evidence. Note to self, Emma lacks a sense of humor. Use caution. Something seems so familiar about that brooch. Oh, right, there is. That's Megamix and Gigamix, right, Retro? I've never read those either. That'd be fun to. That would actually be fun to read. Oh, there you go. Now I can talk about the murder weapon. What do you think about this revolver? Well, it's pretty big and heavy. That's right, it's a .45 caliber. Makes it one of the deadliest revolvers around. Even the police don't carry guns this big. Really? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You don't need so much power to kill at such a close range. It's overkill. Not sure I see the problem. I mean, whenever I go out to eat curry, I make sure it's extra spicy. Of course, I can only ever eat 1 or 2 bites. And that's not a problem. There's another thing about a gun this big. Puts a lot of strain on the shooter. Yeah, say if you were to fire this revolver, the recoil would probably dislocate your shoulder. It's like the shooter's a victim too. Yep. The killer used this revolver and quite well. I'm guessing whoever did it was used to shooting. Used to shooting a high caliber weapon? Well, that's about it. I think we've looked over just about everything there is. I guess you're right. I know how you're feeling. It's hard to know when to stop, but anything even more involved has to wait until the squad gets here. I suppose. I'll go report the evidence. Sorry, but could you wait here till I get back? Huh? Oh, actually, we have to... Great, thanks. She left. What do we do, Apollo? She told us to wait. How am I supposed to investigate? Oh, well, guess it can't be helped. Let's go. Go. Time's a wasting, Apollo. We got a lot of ground to cover. Well, that's true, but on second thought, why not? I'm sure everything will be fine. Of course it will. Let's go. Akira, have you not seen, have you not read Mega Mix or Giga Mix either? I've heard they're really good. They have the, they have those, wow, I forgot about Grammar. Who's there? We didn't just imagine that, did we? He was wearing a silk hat. Friend of yours? Hardly. Whoever that was, he sure looks suspicious. I think they use those star enemies from the Game Boy Mega Man. Only Red NT Warrior. Would you say it was worth reading? It sounds like basically really good things. I feel like most people will say just good things about it. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Octung. You ain't kidding. It's the two leading members of the Gaviners. Clavier on vocals and Darian on guitar. They're so cool. I have a hard time thinking of Clavier as anything else other than a prosecutor, honestly. Probably the case, I bet. Yeah, Staroids, that's the word. Exactly, Retro. My hog won't start, my guitar case is busted, my guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it off, someone's dead. Then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? Hey, man, don't blame me. You were the one who missed the cue. Me? Miss a cue? How could I conceivably get the most important part of the song wrong? How? What was up with that tinny playing of yours? Who you calling tinny? Sounds like they're having a spat. One of those differences in musical direction bands are always splitting up over. This is hardly the time. What are you two doing here? Hiya. We were just discussing the investigation, if you don't mind. Sorry. Wait, you were what? Listen. You need to confirm that with the Republic of Virginia, Detective Crescent. Right. Anything else? What did you just call him? Detective? Ah, greetings. Darian Crescent, or Crescent. Darian Crescent? Criminal Affairs Division 3. Hello? Apollo. You really don't know anything about the Gaviners, do you? Something tells me that's about to be remedied. It's like a whole different story. I'm excited. I definitely gotta check it out. About the crime. Which crime do you mean? The murder, what else? Oh, that. For me, today has been a hit parade of crimes, you see. Prosecutor Gavin was singing the blues earlier, wasn't he? Something about his hog and his guitar case. Anyway, I'm afraid you know more about the killing of Mr. Latouche than I do. For now, at least. You were the one who figured out the body, yeah? Well, we were in the middle of a performance, no less. Aren't you going to examine the crime scene, Prosecutor Gavin? I'll leave that to Fraulein Detective. Wouldn't want to step on her toes. They're not exactly best buddies, are they? Emma and Prosecutor Gavin, I mean. Well, what to do next? You've already checked out the scene. Prosecutor Gavin might be right. We may be the most informed for once. Maybe Prosecutor Gavin can shed some light on some things we found. I don't believe you, Apollo. How can you come to this concert and not know the Gaviners? It's not surprising. Why, even our ancestors knew nothing of America's existence once. I know America exists. They aren't just an average rock band, Apollo. Each member is connected to the police somehow. The police? The real police! By day, they pack heat, but by night, they heat up the stage. By day, those lips interrogate, but by night, they sing songs of unrequited passion. Unrequited. They debuted 7 years ago. 13 years, hard time for love. Then came Love with No Chance of Parole, and My Boyfriend is the Prosecution's Witness. The list of hits goes on and on. This here's my right-hand man, Darian Crescent. I make the melodies, and he attacks them with his guitar. He's a bit of a rogue, really. And this guy's a bit of a perfectionist. When a performance goes the least bit wrong, he goes in this funk, just like today. I hope murder would be a bit more off-putting than a ruined concert. The concert today was a disaster. I'll get to the bottom of this, and then we'll see who missed a cue. The missed cue? They were arguing about that before. Great, I love nothing more than questioning tormented artists. What's this missed cue you keep talking about? You heard it, didn't you? From the audience? Actually, I didn't notice anything. See? No amateur's gonna pick up on that. Can you guarantee an audience of amateurs? No. Now take a listen to this. What's that? A mixing board. We use it to record our concert tonight. Aren't we supposed to be investigating a murder? Well, we've come this far. Might as well go all the way. I've always wanted to learn about the recording industry. Guilty lub. This is but one of the devices used in recordings. We're a 5-part band. This lets us record each member's performance separately. Use the sliders to adjust the volume for each part. Check it out. Wow, neat. So could you say hear only the drum part? Of course, that's how we'll find out the criminal who's guilty of missing his cue tonight. I'm more concerned with the other criminal, the one who kills people. You want help on the case? Then help me with mine. I guess rock and roll comes before prosecuting. First, we bring up the part with the performance in question. Simply choose the section of the song you wish to hear. There it is. Now listen. Was something wrong? You couldn't hear it? Listen again closely. Ah, the timing's a little off, isn't it? You see? There, right at the most important part, and even an amateur could hear it. An amateur with a mixing board, maybe. You're missing the point. We'll never stamp out crime until we're perfect. Perfect! Here he goes again. Right, Herr Amateur, you will prove my point. You'll find the miscue. You'll tell us which instrument, which part is the guilty party. And not just explain it, use those sliders to adjust the volume. Then you'll find the part that hopelessly bungles the cue. You'll find it with your untrained amateur ears. First, a quick review. Use the sliders, press the section of the song. Once you've found the guilty part, press the corresponding number. There we go. Take that! This part's off. The second guitar. It was you, Darian! Oh, well. Looks like the cat's out of the bag. Oh, well, that's all you have to say? That kind of attitude lets killers walk free, Darian. Here they go again. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to ask about the concert. It's starting to feel like we're just wasting time. It's all experience under our belts. That can't be too bad. Such a strict band leader indeed. Demands perfection at all times, yikes. On the day of a freaking murder, too. Guilty love. Okay, we gotta present something. Probably the gun. Not in the mood to talk about that right now. Even I can only take so much in one day. Funny, I always thought of Prosecutor Gavin as one of those cool stoic types. The sort that never complains. Wonder if you knew anything about this. That's... Does it look familiar? Familiar? It's mine! That's my keyring! I've been looking all over for it! What? This is yours, Mr. Gavin? Paulo, how can you make that I knew it face? This is the keyring that was... Yeah, I know. Thanks anyway. So, where'd you find it? Well, actually the victim was holding it. Like he was trying to keep it from the killer, even if it meant his life. What? The victim? You mean Mr. Latou said my keys? When will my trials be over? Speaking of trials, I've never heard Mr. Gavin whine in court like he has been today. Emma was right about the fop, I'll give her that. Apollo, Mr. Gavin, maybe we can help. Tell us about your troubles today. I really don't think that's... Tell us. And we'll keep mum about the keyring for now. Are you blackmailing me, Fraulein? You were saying something about your motorcycle not starting? And something about your guitar case being busted. You're well informed. You mentioned it a few times. It all happened this morning. It's all this keyring's fault. It's got my keys on it, yeah? My bike key, my car key, and the key to my guitar case. Wait, so this keyring, it disappeared. I thought I put it under my jacket pocket. I had to come to the concert by taxi. How embarrassing. And in order to get my guitar out, I had to break the lock. Wait, this guitar wasn't the one that... The very one up in flames. And right on stage, too. I actually thought that was part of the show. Crazy. And to top it off, Mr. Latusse's life was taken. Nobody told me about days like these. Strange days indeed. You think? What's wrong, Trucy? Well, I was just trying to make sense of everything. First, this heart-shaped keyring gets stolen. Then a very expensive guitar flares up on stage. Then Mr. Latusse dies. Yes, and... Could it all really be just a coincidence? Coincidence? Meaning? Darian, can you make any sense of all this? Hey, don't look at me. What do you think, Apollo? I mean, either Mr. Gavin's having a really bad day, or all this was planned. You aren't thinking what I think you're thinking. Are you, Fraulein? I am. What? What? Hey, don't leave me in the dark with Spike here. The name's Apollo, but yeah, I agree. Don't leave us in the dark. What are you talking about? Haven't you noticed a connection, Apollo? A curious connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles today? You know, something was bugging me too. The keyring and the guitar and the body. Slow down there, Polly. You look a wee bit dizzy. He's bluffing. He hasn't figured it out. Fess up if you're a man. You're as clueless as I am. No, give fair forehead a chance. Let's see your evidence of the connection, shall we? Come on. Let's see it. What's the connection between all of Mr. Gavin's troubles? It's this, isn't it? A lyric sheet. The guitar's serenade? What's that got to do with anything? It has everything to do with everything. Though I wouldn't have believed it if the Fraulein hadn't pointed it out. What are you talking about, man? Enough with the riddles. Maybe it is a coincidence, or maybe it means something. Don't you think, Fraulein? I do. Everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin today is predicted in the lyrics in the song. What? No way. That guitar definitely got tested. And apparently it's a really expensive one, too. Look, just think about everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin. Let's list them in the order that they occurred. While reading this lyric sheet, first, the keyring was stolen, and not just any one, a heart-shaped keyring. When he stole away the keys, my heart held onto so tight that his guitar burst into flames. Then Mr. Latusse was killed, like a bullet of love, fire. Take my love away. But that's crazy. So everything that happened today here, this song predicted it all? Or perhaps it was the other way around. The criminal could have based his crime on the lyrics. But who would go through all the trouble? Someone who moves in mysterious ways, no doubt. I believe you stumbled upon something quite vital and quite annoying, Fraulein. She looks pleased. The lyrics predicting the crime. Clavier. Seems a bit more than a coincidence to me. I have to agree. The keyring, the guitar, and the murder. The keyring might have been dropped by accident, yet the victim was holding it. Hard to think that it was unconnected. That's true. So the criminal matched their actions to the lyrics. Sounds likely. Why would anyone do that? While we think about that, I'm going to get cracking on the biggest crime here. I'm going to talk to the Burgundian embassy about this Mr. Latusse. Ah, right. Thanks, Darian. I'll leave the pondering of mysteries to you. I'm out of here. A foreign national. Mr. Latusse was killed. Seems like that would have had to be the point of all this, but they did more than that. They left us with not only a murder, but a mystery. Mr. Gavin sure is irritable today. Maybe this is the real one we don't get to see in the courtroom. I've had enough, frankly. If you find any more mysteries, do me a favor and keep them to yourselves, yeah? That leaves Lamoureux to question. Do you know where Lamoureux is right now? I had her go to my dressing room. With that pianist Machi Tobe, of course. She seemed rather shocked by Mr. Latusse's sudden passing. There he is again. Eek! Who's there? There he goes again. Who is that guy? Trucy. You know, he did look sort of familiar. So he is a friend of yours. No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't remember. More curious and more curious. Oh, right, it was the governor's dressing room. Let's see. Ah, Lamaror. What has happened? I heard that Mr. Latouche has died. Lamaror, you speak? I mean, you speak English? Ah, yes. I was invited here from the Republic of Borginia, but I am not Borginian by birth. But wasn't Mr. Latouche your interpreter? Ah, that. Yes, well, it was Mr. Latouche's idea. He thought it would add to the mystery, you see. Then your pianist is also? No, Machitobe is Borginian. He does not speak English. Now please tell me, what has happened to Mr. Latouche? Why did he... Actually, Mr. Latouche was... Trucy! Remember what Prosecutor Gavin told us? Not a word. But Mr. Latouche is her manager. That's not fair to her. I mean, isn't she a related party? All we've been told is to wait here in this room. It's very unsettling. I'm sorry, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Do you think I can ask you some questions? Of course. She's as calm as she looked on stage. Can't put my finger on why, but I like this person. What is it, Machi? What? But you'd be alone. What seems to be the problem? Machi, he's not good around strangers. He wishes to go outside for a breath of fresh air. Would that be alright? Sure, of course. Very well. What is it you wish to ask me about? I like her theme a lot. The Republic of Borginia, that's in Northern Europe, right? Never even heard of it. I started out singing in a restaurant, then a producer called me. Before I knew it, here I am. You don't say. You know, my daddy plays piano in a restaurant. Producers tend to look for talent, Trucy. Lamaror, you're not from Borginia originally? Oh, is that supposed to be a secret? Ah, yes, it is something like this. A contract, you might say. I'm also not to speak anything but Borginese in public. Image is important, I guess. Her songs are lovely, a real landscape painter in sound. She travels the world, turning the sights she sees into music. That's the secret to her music's beauty. Oh, I use your songs all the time in my stage act. I don't have to pay royalties for that, do I? Stop while you're ahead, Trucy. Hey, said the kid, hello to you! This landscape painter in sound is an image, yet without it my songs would not be so widely heard. How are you, Sid? How's your Wednesday treating you? They call her the siren of the ballad. In Borginese, Lamaror means the siren. I fear that perhaps I am not the siren I once was. The witness was the siren. Your pianist, Machi, was it? He's cute, like a porcelain doll. He's very European. I met him while singing in restaurants in Borginia. He is an orphan, yet his playing is exquisite. Soon he came to live with me. It's like a fairy tale, almost. I notice he hardly leaves your side. Yes, well, he is blind. At first, I hesitated at dragging him across the world. He doesn't speak English either. He had never left Borginia before we met. I made his presence part of my contract. Machi and I together are Lamaror, together always. Went okay, just tired. Only okay? I'm sorry you're tired. He was my new manager. From 3 months ago. Around when I received Mr. Gavin's invitation to come. I met Mr. Latouche at my office. He was to be my manager and bodyguard. And as it turned out, my interpreter. Yes, but we were to visit more places than just here. We had a concert in Japan scheduled after this one, though I fear that may be cancelled now. Was Mr. Latouche from the Republic of Borginia too? Well, he was only with me for 3 months. I'm afraid there's much I don't know about him. And now I shall never know. No one will even tell me why he has died. Prosecutor Gavin says we weren't to talk to anyone. Latouche was a talented man. I'm happy for him it's become so well known. The siren. Apollo. You are the siren, right, Lammeror? It was the name my producer gave me, but why do you ask? It's very important. I had to know for sure if the siren was you. What do you mean important? I'll tell you. You deserve to know. Siren. Turns out that's a very important word in this case. How? When we found Mr. Latouche, he was still alive. I heard him say something. His last words. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Ask witness. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was it? The witness is siren. He said siren. Really? I was the only one there to hear it, but I'm sure that's what he said. Mr. Latouche said that? Ask the witness? And you're the siren, Lammeror. Did you see what happened? Lammeror? Might I ask, are you with the police? Well, no, I'm a defense attorney. An attorney. Yet there have been no arrests yet. Is that a problem? Does an attorney not work for a client? If you have no client, you should leave the investigation to the police, I think. But Lammeror, I'm sorry, but I cannot answer your questions. I'm afraid you lack the authority to ask them. If she witnessed the crime, why wouldn't she tell us? I believe we are through here. I believe so. She's so pretty. I guess we'll go back to the stage. Nope. I guess we'll go back to Lammeror's room? What the heck? What are we missing? This is like prime Ace Attorney, like, tells you to leave. I guess, was I supposed to show her something? There must be something I'm missing. Do you mind taking a look at this, Lammeror? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to say. I wish I could help you. The brochures? That reminds me. Does this brooch look familiar to you? My brooch? Yes, well, it may be mine. I was wearing a brooch earlier, you see. I must have lost it. Well, that explains the brooch we found. It was Lammeror's. Thank you. I was wondering where I dropped it. So it belongs to her. Something wrong, Apollo? What was this doing at the crime scene? Was that it? Maybe. Should I examine that earpiece again, maybe? Oh, right. You know, with Emma, I guess we were supposed to guard the room with the body, so maybe that's what we should do. Let's see. Is that blood? Why don't you examine this one, Apollo? Something is strange about the blood, though. Pizza Roll! Hello to you, Pizza Roll. Happy Wednesday. How are you doing today? Let's, I guess we still got stuff to show Lammeror. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Dog Vader, you got that first today, man. I know, I saw it. Postcard of hers. What are these letters at the bottom? I've never seen these before. Must be her native tongue. A landscape painter in sound. This is how it would translate, roughly. Please take one. Okay, so we needed this postcard, I guess. I wish the game wouldn't tell me... I really wish the game wouldn't tell me to move away when it still has stuff like that happening. That's what I needed. Ugh. Funny. No, you're good. Don't even worry about it. My day's pretty good, Pizza Roll. Thanks for asking. Pizza Roll, did you guys get to see the Sony State of the Play today? Emma, something wrong? She looks grumpier than usual. You bet something's wrong. The impossible's happened. It's all your fault, you know. Oops, maybe this is about us leaving the crime scene. What do you mean by impossible? Well, it's gone. Utterly gone. The body, stupid. What else? Wow, we just saw the body, too. Mr. Latusa's body's disappeared. What about Silent? Yeah, Shadow. The Sonic and Shadow generations is really cool. From your vacant stare, I gather you heard the news. Look for yourself. Quite the pickle. Quite the pickle. How can you just stand there? We have to start the investigation. No need for alarm, Fraulein Detective. All entrances and exits have been sealed. The body will not leave the building. So I suggest we go find ourselves a cadaver. There'll be plenty of time to ponder the whys later. Well, you seem pretty sure of yourself, Mr. Gavin. We'll find him. I'm rather enjoying this. Hey, I don't know if this is exactly the right time, but... Yes, Darian? See, Geeter's gone missing. It was in the guitar room. Geeter? That's what I call my guitar, you know, man? Your guitar was stolen? This hasn't been a good day for guitars or Geeters. Okay, body first, then guitar. And if someone finds that guitar, please bring it to our dressing room. Geeter's like a missing person, not lost and found, man. Well, this sure is, what did he call it? A sausage? And it's your pickle. I told you to stay in this room. Sorry. It's alright. Top priority now is finding that body. You can make it up to me later. 10 bags or so of chocolate snacku should do the trick. You should watch your sugar intake. There should be a body here, but there's not. How could this have happened and why? Silent Hill should be interesting, too. Silent Hill should be very interesting. I've yet to play it myself. I haven't played any Silent Hill games, actually, but... Concert poster. Guilty as charged. Seems kind of negative to me. Okay, it's not inside the case. That's the Blue Badger, the police mascot. Hey, these things fly up the shelf. All these random ones. Have you played them, Pizza Roll? Have you played all the Silent Hills? I'm kind of surprised to hear that. Maybe not all of them, but a few of them. Something seemed different to you, Apollo. Something's definitely different here. Not sure that's all important right now. Ah, you've watched 2 and 3. The tower they were singing on, someone must have raised it. Don't see a way to control it. We could use that to go ahead and look up. What are you talking about? We have to see this sort of thing for ourselves. Stop whining and start climbing. Didn't look that high from below, really, but when we got to the top, I felt every one of those 20 feet down. Of course, I wasn't thinking about the height anymore. Not after what we found up there. The body, with the guitar in hand, and the pianist Machi Tobei. Wow. July 8th, that's the next day. Pizza Roll's a wimp. Wow, that concert last night sure went south in a hurry. No kidding. Why'd they arrest Machi? Don't look at me like it's my fault. Machi Tobei, the blind pianist, arrested on suspicion of murdering Romain Latouche. I can't believe such a cute little boy would do something so horrible. Guess they had proof of some kind. Morning! Prosecutor Gavin! What a night, eh? I apologize for being so upset. Mr. Gavin, do you know what's going on? Why'd they arrest Machi? Why? It was tough for me, too. We performed together that night, after all, yet... The powers that be say that, given the circumstances, it could have only been him. What do you mean, the circumstances? Lammeror was invited from Borginia as an ambassador of goodwill. It's vital that this case be wrapped up swiftly. That's all that the powers that be want, really. Well, those are certainly circumstances. But what makes Machi the only possible suspect? Herr Forehead, you seem to have forgotten that you're talking to the prosecution, the enemy. Ah, right. I like this side of Prosecutor Gavin better, actually. I'm not at liberty to discuss the particulars of this case, especially not to the defense attorney. What? What did you just say? Me, the defense attorney? That's what I came to tell you. He's down at the detention center. He wants to request your services. He? You mean Machi? Machi wants me? This is what we've been waiting for, Apollo. Let's get going. Right. Good luck. I'm off to question Lammeror. Right, later. July 8th. Well, I just don't get it. I refuse to believe such a cute little kid could do something so terrible. Look at this kid. Machi, everything's gonna be okay. We're here for you. Hi, maybe you can tell me about last night? Huh? That was when I realized how tough it must be. A little kid like this. In a country so far from everything he's ever known. Maybe Lammeror can help? But didn't Prosecutor Gavin say she was with him? Well, what are we gonna do? That's a good question. Can't think of anything we can do but go with this. And hope for the best at the trial tomorrow. Poor kid. We can't even speak with him. This happens a lot in this game. It seems like we kind of get thrust into... We get thrust into these defense situations. July 9th, 10 a.m. Oh, I love the music in these games. Court is now in session for, how do I say that? Machi Tobe, Your Honor. The Pixie of the Arpeggio. Right, his trial. Court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Herr Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. Ah, my opening statement, yeah? No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. Say, you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say, get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them down while they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who's terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't seem to have long. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups just ever say what's on their minds instead of pretending? She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly. You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be getting the hospital visit sooner than you think. Yo, Tofu Toru, what's good, dude? Tofu, by the way, I just shipped out your stuff. So tomorrow we can get a tracking update on you. Congrats on your second place again. You did such a great job. Thank you very much for recording that YouTube. In fact, I should really link to you in that video I uploaded on Monday. Like, seriously, you did a great job. Thank you very much for recording all that. I thought for sure we weren't gonna have any, we weren't gonna have anything we could watch during that tournament. Romain Latouche, age 35. The global manager for diva songstress Lammeror. The cause of death, blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence. 45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that would knock a man off his feet. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse considering. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found at the wall of the scene. This is where the bullets hit. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. If we're talking about a .45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. The dressing room has only one entrance, this door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty save for the victim's body. But that's impossible! Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobei. Only the defendant could have committed the crime, but how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness please take the stand. Oh, Retro, you did a great job clipping. We did the same thing. Thank you, Retro. Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I'm on security detail, or I was there for the Consum Forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've even made bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes it feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was discovered rather quickly, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. All right. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. Okay, I think that last statement is probably the most important. It was lucky that a detective was first on the scene. But that door was the only way out of the room, right? But I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more info. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. The night of the murder, I was on security. Only people involved in the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went in the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined only the defendant could have done it. How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened up a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent. Ah. But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only person who could fit through was a child. A child? Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant! The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture! Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know, Hair Forehead. And there's another vital piece of evidence. Marks were found on the air vent grill, traces that it had recently been opened. And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant Machi Tobei's fingerprints. Order! Order! The air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, her forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? But it was such a big gun. That would have, as a kid to shoot it, that would have broken his ribs. Only one could pass through that vent, the doorway to heaven, and that is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was whipping it out in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence. I know the circumstances under which the body was found. I was there. An examination of the crime scene was enough to nail down the killer? Sure, they have a good reason. They must have had a good reason to arrest Machi. And I'm going to find out what it was. Oh, does that mean I should press everything? I might need to press everything. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was a detective doing on security detail, I might ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly, but orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Well, isn't it obvious? My keys the whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. Here he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just simply wander into a murder victim's hand on their own. Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. Thanks, Richard. Love, slow acting, and new. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor adrift on the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen, so I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. Well, I can't. What do you mean, time on their hands? Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there, then. Yeah, first time he was sweating. I like it, Retro. More clips, the better. Poor guy. I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos. Hey, no snacking in court. And you're sure the shots came from Lamoureux's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Ka-tonk. Ah, thanks. Everyone's out here munching. Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time. Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music. Rock. Blaring, yes. When you say rock, you're referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days? That's alright, when we went in the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage from the speakers. That way people in the back can hear what they're supposed to be doing on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to Gaviners with your ears, you feel it with your entire body and soul. I always had the backstage monitors at full volume. The band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the scene of the crime. If you could hear the music playing, then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Closed out the scene and started my investigation. Okay, we did have to press everything. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The defendant was the only one who could possibly have left the scene, simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. I believe this trial is finished if the defense has no contradicting evidence. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain. Paul, they got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick. I know. We need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? Yeah, the gun itself. This gun is way too big for a little kid to use. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The defense is prepared to show contradicting evidence. This should be interesting. What sort of evidence? The evidence does more than contradict, it flips the whole case on its head. Thank you for sending evidence that is both clear and plain as requested. What? Come on. I think that makes total sense. The only person who could have fled the scene was the defendants. And there were no witnesses either. Maybe it should be the door. Or the siren! Maybe it should be the siren calling on the siren. Evidence or a witness? Alright, let's call on Lamoureux. You claim there were no witnesses to the crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I'd swear it on my career as a prosecutor and my million-seller hit, Atra Queen My Love. That's too bad, because there was a witness. Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not? Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. He wants to know about the siren. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness. Can't see. The witness is siren. What? The victim said this before he died? Perhaps he did and perhaps he did not. All we know is what Herr Forehead said. That's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth, he said it! I even told you about it. But apparently you ignore me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear, contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Lamoureux. Recall Mr. Latouche's last words. The witness is siren. The siren. He meant the siren. That's right, the siren of the ballad, Lamoureux. She was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, my claim still stands. There was no witness to the crime. Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We shall now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lamoureux to the witness stand. Lamoureux would say nothing on the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her. It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind. Ah, you can speak English. Yes, I can. Though I'm not very good. There is much I do not know. You speak so well. Have you spent time here before? Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. What does she mean she doesn't know? I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lamoureux suffers from amnesia. Hey, Unfunny, nice to see you. Lamoureux is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer Lamoureux, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet, I do not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamoureux. There's something I do not understand. I am being called here as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lammeror, let me be frank. I did not wish to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Congratulations, Apollo, you're the bad guy. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then, I was led to the police by Mr. Gavin's dressing room and was told to wait there. That was where I had learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it, she saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her longer than need be. Wow, you just got badder, Apollo. Way to go. Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet. Lammeror wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Let's check that out. You didn't return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. And was Machi with you at the time? Unfortunately, I do not know where he was. So much for an alibi for Machi. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. With Machi, correct? How was he then? He seemed as he always does, though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latusse's death. Yet he is not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far. We sat there waiting. That was where I learned something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latousse died. Of course, investigations require security. But Mr. Latousse was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand. Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? Hard to imagine her lying. She might not be lying, but she's definitely hiding something. Invited. Did not return after the second set. I'm kind of thinking the brooch might have something to do with this. Let's see. Anything special about it? No, not really. A pin fastener. Not a safety pin, it's a danger pin. I'm thinking maybe this brooch is part of it. Because that got lost. It's found at the crime scene and it belongs to Lammeror. She did not return backstage after the second set. Keyring. Did not return backstage after the second set. Though, didn't she have her brooch on? Maybe she had her brooch on during the show? She saw nothing. But you must have seen something. Mr. Latousse named you. Mr. Latousse? How can I tell you what I don't know? Lammeror, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night, I was invited to sing. It was a great concert. You heard me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course. Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One of my gavel would be nice. What's this? It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving. Oh, my grandchild will be so happy. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance. Did not return. Yeah, that was good. I like that. Did not return backstage. Was led to the dressing room. I feel like it's this brooch. Because how else would the brooch... Yeah, there we go. Solid. I'm sorry, Lamaror, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lamaror. She was wearing it for her song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime. What? Lamaror, how did your brooch get backstage if you didn't go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you've been wearing it during your performance that night. What is the meaning of this? Lamaror, please explain. Lamaror? She says English is quite difficult. That trick's not going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. What you talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. I'm gonna make sure no one comes in. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? You're cold. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. Help's on the way. The witness's siren. Right. I actually forgot about that. Some movement back there. Could have sworn I heard a door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you. This is when your brooch dropped. There was no other time I could have dropped it. You looked in only for an instance, but you dropped your brooch? Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in at the crime scene. I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. A horrible voice indeed. I closed the door immediately. Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamaror, you did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, there was only the briefest of glimpses. When my performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment. Ooh. When my performance was finished... I went backstage for just a moment. When the performance was finished... Oh, I don't remember what her tick is. Went backstage for just a moment. Saw nothing. The late Latouche's body was behind a wall. I saw nothing. Ooh. She's not speaking there. I like that. That's a fun mechanic. The late Mr. Latouche's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Latouche's death than what you're saying. I could see you trying to not remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? One moment, Lamoureux. What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? Yes? She was hiding something, I knew it. I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. How could that be? Lamoureux contradicted her own testimony and I have the evidence to prove it. Tell me, Lamoureux, how did you know that he had been shot? Well, immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving it. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known? Lamoureux, you aren't hiding something from the court, I hope. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Ah, now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. I saw bullet holes in the wall, and I knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Only a glimpse, yet you knew that they were bullet holes? Yes, I recognized them immediately. I've seen bullet holes before, you know. You traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour, too. Oh, I got it. She saw the bullet holes, but the map. She couldn't actually see it from the diagram. Nailed it. Lamoureux, they call you the siren of the ballad. But lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. A put-down worthy of a prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah? Come on, can't it be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lamoureux, you looked in from the door for just a moment. Yes, that's so. There were bullet holes in that room, yes. But they were in the wall the door is on. You see? Assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Lamoureux. Yes? I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you've been holding back something. And I must tell you what it is that I saw? Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Borginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls on you to avoid tarnishing it. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. Hey, we got Kelvin! Kelvin, I know. I still remember her backstory, but I'm not going to say it for folks who haven't played through the game. But yes, she's got quite a backstory. How are you, Kelvin? You must have seen something, Lamoureux. Very well. Lamoureux, please continue your testimony. Very well, I shall. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown-up person. I know it was. So you did witness the crime, and the killer was a grown person, you say? Ach, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Herr Forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination. Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lamoureux. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. So on my way from the stage, there was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. Let's ask her more about that. What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, the window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes. You need not worry, Lamoureux, your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers that detail. The little window on the wall. I saw the crime from there. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It wasn't Machi who shot. Are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in her favor. Isn't it my job to object? Trucy, let's just listen to what Lamoureux has to say. Can you tell me about how you were so sure? It was a grown person. A grown person? That's a little vague. I am sorry. My skill with your language is, lacking, I know. Certainly, you could at least tell whether the shooter was male or female? It was a man, a young man. And you're sure of that? Yes, his voice was quite clear. Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It seems likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter. As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche? Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man. Proves it wasn't Machi. This turns out to be true. It would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion of the testimony? Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lamoureux's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Hair Forehead. You're colder than I thought. I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lamoureux has to be lying. I know, and it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as Her Forehead says. Yet this is not the only contradiction within her testimony. Kelvin, by the way, what's your favorite Ace Attorney game? What's he talking about? Lamoureux. I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember that you are the siren of the ballad, and lies do not become such a creature. Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? I recall the state of the crime scene quite well. Yes, and when the murder took place, the window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. What? But I'm sure. Lamoureux, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense, but my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser. But she's the only eyewitness we have. So you say, and the victim named her the siren as the witness? That's right, that's what Mr. Latouche... We heard your claim, we even entertained the possibility. Herr Judge. The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There was indeed a question of the witness's credibility. But if Lamoureux can't testify, we don't have a chance of proving his innocence. Thanks, Retro. That was a good sneeze right there. Danke. Now, where were we? Yes, I would like to hear from Fraulein Detective again. Wait, let me hear Lamoureux's testimony one last time. This witness may leave the stand. I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance. At last, back to the real trial. Ready, Her Forehead? Ugh, hope I didn't dismiss my only chance. Fraulein Detective, how far had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted? Don't ask me! I dislike saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat a song for an encore. If you would, Miss Sky. I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Latouche's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling. There was only one door in the room, and a witness, you, was standing in front of it. That air vent isn't very big, see? Kinda limits the people who could possibly get through. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for a killer is the defendant. Reading the report, something caught my eye. The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. The circumstances? Hey, that's right. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Latusse's body disappear from the room and end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less. A perceptive observation here, Judge. You got a nose for things. Very good, Fraulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved, and how does that lead us to the killer? I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamoureux's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Alright, we should definitely press that signature. Lamoureux's song. Yes, the guitar serenade. You noticed its code too, did you not? All the events that day follow the lyrics to our song. First, the keys to my heart were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Latusse's life was taken by a bullet. Guitar, guitar, up together to the sky. That's mad! It's like a story out of a fairy tale. I admit I'd forgotten about the song, but there it is now, waiting for me, the grand finale, as it were. Hey, you know I was the one who first noticed that. I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs, but killing? That's a wild world out there, her Judge. Hey, Coco G, welcome on in, you guys. Hello, hello. So nice to see you. We've heard one song and dance, let's get on to the next, the cross-examination. I'm not sure I want to be doing much singing. Hello, Coco B and Coco G, nice to see you guys. And Monkey D. Sean too. How goes the case? Well, it's not looking great for our defendant, okay? Or for the defendant, which I guess is our client. He's a little boy from a different country. They're accusing him, even though this big old gun would have a bunch of recoil, they still think that he's the only one who could do the killing in this case. And I have to cross-examine the detective right now. I believe Machi stole the body because of lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamoureux's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Machi practically left his signature. What do you mean his signature? Hey, Sunny D! The bullet holes in the wall, of course. The bullet holes. The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. And that means what exactly? That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It'd be difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No, you can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. That's why he missed? It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun poorly. That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice, what do I do now? Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Oh, how so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver was a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate their shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Machi Tobey, is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off his aim. Wait, he just proved against himself. A convincing argument, to be sure. Apollo? That bit about Machi being tiny? And the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? That's right, Kokochi. It does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. Cripes, I really put my foot in it this time. But let's get the facts that matter on the record. If you would, Fraulein Detective. Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony. From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. You can't say he was blind just because of those bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that. I wouldn't call it proof, per se. You've merely rather raised a possibility. Fraulein Detective has made a logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course, there's more evidence than just bullet holes. The defendant was the only one who could have escaped through the air vent. But wait, if he was blind, how would he know about the air vent in the first place? Ah, very good point. Well, Fraulein Detective, if you would care to explain. He certainly seems sure of himself. Recall the crime scene if you would. There was a stepladder below the air vent. As it happened, maintenance was scheduled on that day. Custodial staff went around checking all the air vents. I don't believe it. Everyone backstage was told about the maintenance, including Machi Tobei. He would have known that there would be a way out at the top of the stepladder. But that's... Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? You could have figured it out for yourself. You only needed to consider what a stepladder was doing there. Looks like the defense's objection has been squished by a stepladder. Well, Herr Forehead? Out of ammunition, perhaps? I've never seen Prosecutor Gavin so aggressive. Maybe he's caught the scent of blood. Apollo, don't you have something, anything? You know what we need? We need something to prove the killer could see. That'll put him in his place. Proving the shooter was sighted would do it. That would take down one of their central points. Do I have any evidence that can prove that? Yes, I do. Fine, I accept the prosecution's challenge. As I knew you would, Herr Forehead. There's two things. The fact that he moved the body all the way up, and the fact that the blood got scraped away. Prosecutor is saying the shooter missed because they couldn't see. Therefore, Machi, who's blind, did it. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim that the shooter couldn't see. I would say the fact that the blood got scraped away is pretty good evidence, and so is the fact that the body got dragged all the way up top. I don't think I can prove I don't have any evidence for that, so let's go ahead and drop that. This is that evidence! The photograph of the crime scene. Hey, Leo, nice to have you in here again. I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face, but this is no time to think twice. Thing to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There's something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, yeah? Very well, show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. Right here. Right here. The contradiction is right here. The smeared blood stains. I thought it was just my blurry vision, but it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head, much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court. It's almost as if he wrote something. Aha, I got it! At least I think I get it. Get what, Fraulein? When Mr. Latouche was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. It really is, Kokuji. I love the banner in this game. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here. There does seem to be a distinct possibility. The victim wrote the killer's name? It's certainly a logical conclusion. Gerard, I just wish it weren't all rubbed out like that. Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Neither would I. No one has anything else to say? About what? So the prosecution accepts this? You agree that the victim was making an attempt to record the name of a killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How'd the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Latouche was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw it was... Wait. Once he saw what it was? But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said that they were blind. Ah! Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? Ah. May I remind the court that the defendant, Machi Tobei, is blind? He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible! Order! Order! Prosecutor Gavin, please explain to me what this all means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet up until now... Thanks for another one, Retro. It seems I owe the court an apology. The Gaviners are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred during our concert. Apparently, this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey, Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't, and is about to tell us? I've got an idea. Let's rock with these documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective, if I may. What? Tell me. Why do you think that Machi Tobei is blind? Huh? What did he say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course. He's the blind pianist, right? So he's... Doesn't Lamoureux lead him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Machi Tobei. According to this, Machi Tobei can see perfectly well. What? His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Borginians. He can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Here, Forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fraulein Detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Machi Tobei sees, and he was the only one who could have fled through the air vents. I see no problem with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Herr Forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Herr Forehead. Yarg! I knew you didn't have what it took. You jerk! Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize. Oh, sorry. That's no way to apologize. He's angered the trucy now, look out. Ahem, if we can please end the bickering now. Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solving the case even if it kills me. But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant. Ah, ha, ha. Aha, what? This blood stain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That does seem to be what happened, yes. We might be able to figure out what was really written there. Really? You can do that? That's right, with this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it? It's a chemical that reacts to blood. Ah, yes. Have we done those tests yet? Ha! As if I'm gonna tell you. The bloodstains covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, that section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now. Right. Go for it, Apollo. Huh? I have to do the test. All you have to do is spray the luminol on it. Simple. A chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard of that somewhere. Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it. Right. Ready? It's easy as pie. Just touch the screen to spray the area. Apollo, your hand's shaking. What does that say? Wow, it really works. This must be the power of science. It says IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name? Maybe it is, if the killer was a robot. Ah, I have it. I thought those letter IPXX looked familiar. That's an Interpol ID number. Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency? Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. But why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Latouche even know a number like that? Good show, Fraulein Detective. Rock on. Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? come up to the witness stand. Darien, you heard what we need. Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure thing, give me 30 minutes. Nah, give me 27. Not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems, yet if the number is really that of an Interpol agent... Oh, wait, I know. What if Machitobe is really an undercover Interpol agent? That would be a possibility. A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain. It is a shark hoodie. He's got a little shark theme going on. It's kind of cool. Why did Mr. Latouche know an Interpol ID number? Well, we have some time while we await Darien's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machitobe. What are you talking about? Fraulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word that the defendant could in fact see just before the trial began. Seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until that last bit. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see? Makes little sense. What do you think, Herr Forehead? Huh? Me? Machitobe pretended he was blind. Do you know why? How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time. Do you think perhaps that this is all some kind of game? Know that the moment I heard the report, I knew why. I suppose people who have been sold 1 million records really are something else. What does that have to do with anything? There's a reason why Machitobe pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now? It wasn't for himself. Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness? I have no idea. Herr Forehead, I'm disappointed in you. Unless you're meaning merely feigning stupidity. Recall the relationship of Lamoureux and Machitobe. In particular, their arrangement over the years. Lamoureux and their pianist, they would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they go on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind, or so we thought. She led him at all times. All times. Yet we now know that Machi could see perfectly well. Why keep up the charade? Well, wasn't it part of their performance? There's a simpler explanation here, Judge. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all, which means... Ah! You don't mean... I do. It was the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamoureux. What's this? So you mean to say that Lamoureux is... She's... blind as a bat, Herr Judge. What? What? Order! 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 This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin. Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her right here, why not ask Lamoureux herself? I believe she's still in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me, I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now. Bailiff, bring in Lamoureux. Lamoureux, it pains me deeply to call you here again in this way, and yet I must. Please, do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see, really? It is true. How funny it is that a tiny lie born in the Burgundian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world. So you are... Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamoureux. Know, too, that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamoureux. I see. You may recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial, Herr Forehead. I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses. Now, Lamoureux, I must ask you to the stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor? Yes, of course, though I admit I'm a little lost here. I think we're all a little lost here, Your Honor. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others. But this is a murder trial. I apologize, it was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would. She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said she saw nothing. Very well, does the defense have something to add? I'd like to cross-examine. But what is there left to ask? There's one thing in her testimony that bothered me. Perhaps it's best we let it out of your system. Perhaps you'll someday come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Very well, the defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness. Hey, how are you, Piggy? Her name is Trucy. That's Phoenix Wright's daughter, and isn't she so cute? She is actually very cute. Her name is Trucy Wright. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producers came up with my PR line, so silly as it may be, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, but no others. Okay, so this is interesting because Mr. Latouche named her. I wish I had a... I wish I had, like, evidence that talked about... I'll try pressing. Wait, the Siren Song? Is that a thing in League of Legends? Because the Siren Song is a thing in this case right now. When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche? Of course, he was my manager. So he knew. And that's what's been bugging me. I believe I know what's bothering our young defense attorney. You're thinking of when you discover the body, yes? Oh. The Siren Song. Okay, now I you got lured in to play League of Legends again after so long. You're like Donkey, where you made a big video about quitting and then you came back. He's alive. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness. You're cold. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help's on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness? The witness is Siren. Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know. Tisk tisk. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself. Meaning what? There's no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness, Siren? We've heard them many times along with the play acting from her defense. I remember them well myself, but that statement is not what I refer. I mean, what he said before that. That's right, he tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself, he was talking about the witness. Too bad the defense did not. Well, Hair Forehead? Try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time. Order! Order! Recall Lemeroy's earlier testimony. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were only 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through that window. Why else would he have named her as the witness? But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots and the man's voice. Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We've already run a simulation, of course. But it was so clear. If I had heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant. Your Honor. What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in session here? We have the results back from the investigation. The investigation? Ah, the Interpol number that Mr. Latouche left us. Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescent, your report, please. Yeah, I know, right, Pig? You could totally hear a gunshot. Well, to be fair, there was a concert with loud music on monitors. I think that got brought up a little earlier in the trial too, but yes. I asked Interpol about the number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing. Quick work as always, Darian. Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent? IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche. What? Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation. So when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity. And as a cautious killer, they tried to wipe him away. Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent, so him being Lamoureux's manager was just a cover most likely. There's one other important detail I found. Well, out with it. It concerns that .45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently, it belonged to Mr. Romain Latouche. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on the revolver matched. So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver. So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. I wonder how that ties into everything. It's gotta tie in somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow. Thanks for letting us look into that, Detective Creston. It's been a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Hold it! Wait! Lamoureux, is something the matter? That voice just now. Darien? Mr. Darien, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it. It was him? You aren't saying... That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche. When I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien. Is this some kind of a joke? What? No way. Wait, we've never heard that like guitar sound from... The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state, the trial had to be suspended temporarily. I'd never seen anything like that before. Of course, it's not every day when you get an accusation like that one. Lamoureux, fingering Darien Crescent. Not only is he a guitarist, but he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice that Lamoureux heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey, no weapon out now, Apollo! Ooh, spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy! And she's blind, so you gotta know, and a musician, so you gotta know that her ears have gotta be really sharp, huh? Hey, Apollo! What? Well, you know, actually, nothing. I mean, something, or maybe not. Out with it, the suspense has given me an ulcer. Well, you know, the trial today, I was thinking, if you gave it a score, what score would you give it? A score? Oh, gee. I guess I'd, well... I'm just as bad as you. See, it's so vague. Clearly. Machi avoided a guilty verdict, which is something. Though I can't say I'm any less confused about the case. I asked Interpol about that number. IPX33140206. The agent registered under that number was Romain Latouche. And the victim, Mr. Latouche. Who would have guessed he was actually an undercover Interpol agent? What a mess. And we don't have any idea what he was investigating. Well, true, but we know who shot him now. Lamoureux told the whole court. That voice just now. It was him, I'm sure of it. The voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. Mr. Darien. It's another mystery, Apollo. I love mysteries. I don't. Speaking of mysteries, what's Mr. Wright up to? I wouldn't mind asking for his opinion. Now that you mention it, I haven't seen Daddy around. What, is he some kind of stray that just wanders in and out at will? I wouldn't say that, but he's been going out a lot. Some top secret mission, he said. Top secret. Anyway, you can't just rely on him to save the day. And you got me to help you. We'll be fine. Fine. Well, time's a-wasting, they say. Let's investigate. That's the spirit. You think Trucy's got, she operates Hat Man or Magic Man? Wait, Magic Man's a real Navi. Hey, NTH! Machi may be guilty, but he's still a suspect. They don't have any decisive evidence. Only someone as small as him could have gotten out of that room. Right, the air vent. And he lied. Machi Tobey can see. Machi! Speak of the devil. He looks like he's doing okay. I forget. Why did we come here? It's not like we can talk to him or anything. Words are overrated. Feelings are what matter, Apollo. Kinda hard to build a court case on feelings. But since we're here anyway, may as well get what I want to say off my chest. If you need someone to complain to, I'll listen. I think she's actually worried for me. So he doesn't speak any English. So, what'd you think of the trial today? Woo! I'm glad he doesn't understand English after all. If he did, he'd have been scared out of his mind by the trial. Hey, all's well that ends well. You have to be more goal-oriented. If he's not guilty, we win. No, if he's innocent, we win. Machi might not understand English, but I bet he gets this better than you do. Huh? And Titch, it was a great day for Sonic fans. She even got Machi off the hook by naming another suspect. Darien of the Gaviners, the detective. I wonder if Machi knows what happened. I mean, if he could follow how that trial went at all, if no one told him there's a new suspect, how would he know? Hey, what is it, Apollo? No, it's nothing. I must be imagining it. Imagining what, Apollo? It's just, I couldn't help but feel that, I don't know, Machi. He doesn't understand what we're saying, right? How could he? He's a young Borginian. He doesn't speak English. Yeah, but my bracelet's reacting to him. Huh? Maybe it's malfunctioning. Or maybe it's because you keep making those I'm so mad faces. Was I that bad? Machi lied about not being able to see, but what if that's not all he lied about? If you're curious about it, there's only one thing to do. You should ask him. Tune! How is that word even allowed? I'll take something big to we gotta show him some undeniable evidence. Undeniable evidence that he can see. So Machi, you can see, right? Machi can see and Lammeror can't. The whole world's gone topsy-turvy. Sorry, Apollo, I don't think we're gonna get any information out of Machi. Yeah, I guess it does. Do I have any evidence that would show he can see? Hey, we got lightning! Oh, NTH is the one who made it. Oh, that's funny. I actually missed that. I missed that. Oh, I did not mean to show that. Lightning, it goes very well, my friend. I hope you're doing well, too. How have you been? Playing more Zero? Alright, let's get out of here. Sunshine Coliseum. Oh, wow, we can finally go outside of it. Woo, what a great day. It's perfect weather for sleuthing. The weather matters for investigation. Some days just feel like magic days or defense days, don't you think? Right on. Show us your stuff, Apollo. Your voice training. This is the perfect place for it. Oh, there's no need to be shy. Keep that up and you'll never be on the big stage. And you're in luck because it's lawyer weather today. Don't you just want to face the blue sky and shout objection? Look, the weather has nothing to do with lawyers. Let's get going already. July 9th, backstage. Oh, there she is. Ah, Mr. Attorney. I'm sorry about today. There was nothing new to apologize for. You were merely defending Machi. Are you okay? Alone, I mean? Humans are blessed with 5 senses. Even robbed of one, we get by. Though it does make being a witness rather difficult. Speaking of seeing, you knew who we were before we spotted you just now. And we weren't even talking. I heard your footsteps several times the day before. You must have great ears. Ears that heard the crime taking place. Or so she claimed yesterday, but how? Oh, I love that lightning. That's awesome, dude. Finally finished it. All that's left is video editing. That's so freaking cool. That was quite a statement you made today in court about hearing Darien Crescent's voice at the scene of the crime. I did not know his name, but I never forget a voice. As I said in court, I was on my way backstage from the stage. That's when I heard his voice. I'm guessing Darian and Mr. Latouche were talking about something. The next moment I heard those gunshots. Why didn't you call security? To be honest, though the noise was quite frightening, I never imagined the gunshots might be real. And I was in quite a hurry myself. I left the scene at once. So it really was Darian's voice that she heard. At least she certainly thinks it was. I met Machi before my debut as Lamoureux. I was singing in a restaurant in Bourguignon, and he was playing the piano? He was very kind to me when he learned I could not see. Is that when you started playing opposites? With Machi pretending that he couldn't see? Ah, no, it wasn't then. That began after our major debut. After I became known as the landscape painter in sound. It must have been tough for Machi, pretending he couldn't see and all the while acting as your eyes. We held hands always. He would write with his finger on my palm to signal things to me I should know. He is a smart, gentle boy. I think I see what she's getting at. Machi would never harm a soul. About Mr. Latouche. Ah, yes, he was an Interpol agent, I hear. Of course I had no idea, no one did. Guess that's what it means to be undercover. But someone was after him, they had to know who he really was. Why did he pose as my manager, I do not understand. I can only assume that he was investigating me. But why? What makes you think that? Perhaps it is not so, but I cannot deny the possibility. Because of my condition. As my present is veiled in darkness, so too is my past clouded from memory. Clouded, right. I'm not gonna have invis till the school. Wait, you're telling me I don't get... You tell me I don't get invis until Libra scenario? Holy cow. That's crazy. That's such a long time in legend mode. The real darkness lies in my heart. In your heart? I have no memory of the time before I became Lamoureux. I awoke from darkness into darkness, you might say. I was singing in a restaurant those days. What was it she said about not being able to remember the light? Perhaps I committed some terrible crime in my past. Everything before becoming Lamoureux is lost to me. But I don't think you... I can think of no other explanation. Why else would an agent of Interpol approach me? Do you think your past might be related to the case? No way, that seems really unlikely to me. I mean, you're such a sweet person, Lamoureux. I thank you, Machi, too, tells me this often when I fear who I might have been. If we had Edgework as the prosecution, we would be dead. We'd have a big problem. There's definitely a lot of evidence that, like, doesn't seem to... So pretending she could see. Alright, we'll keep moving. Let's go to the stage. Nope, nothing at the stage. We'll go to the Governors. Okay, nothing at the Governors. We'll go to Lamoureux's. Recover 50 star. Yeah, that's right. We need to fight that virus in Gio's room. That'd be really good to have. Oh, wait, is that something new? Right after the shooting took place, Lamoureux tried to come to the dressing room and dropped her brooch. That fits with the other stuff we know. You think the timing when she dropped it's important? Yeah, something about it bothers me, that's for sure. They found Machi Tobei's fingerprints on that air vent. What's with the long face? It's a little lackluster, you know. Using an air vent, no audience is going to pay good money to see a trick like that. Things must look different through a magician's eyes. It'd be much cooler if the killer got through the tiny window. I like Trucy a lot. Okay. Why don't we examine the actual crime scene here? Okay, I guess not. Hey, look, a part of the carpet has been torn up here. That was the part we did the luminol testing on. You know what I couldn't stop thinking about? Who's gonna pay for this carpet? I guess it's true what they say. Crime doesn't pay. Alright, let's see. Is there anything else we should examine in here? The murder weapon. So it belonged to Mr. Latouche. He was a big man, but the person who shot him, wouldn't they have to be about his size? Oh, we could try examining the window again. This was the window where Lammeror saw the crime from. She did hear it, but the window was closed. Maybe she heard it some other way. Seeing those mirrors lined up like that makes me think I'm really in a dressing room. Okay. There must be something to show Lammeror. No, I guess not. Could go to the stage again. Okay, we can't. It's not like we can go up top. We could examine this open case, though. Big instrument case. You could fit 20 violins in there, I bet. I may look like a violin, but it's a completely different instrument. Wonder who left it sitting there open like that. Okay, it seems like we're not going to really check it. Let's go in here. Machi played so beautifully, like a real pianist. How can you call someone as good as Machi a pianist? Why, that's like throwing him in the same class as Daddy. Good thing Mr. Wright didn't hear that one. Okay, I guess we'll head back outside. I don't really have any new evidence to talk to Machi about, though. Something that could prove that he could speak English. I mean, the lyrics would have to matter. Because he wouldn't have... If he couldn't speak English, he wouldn't be able to figure that out. Do I actually have to talk to Trucy? Lammeror dropped a bomb in court today. It was Darien. The gunshot happened during the concerts. All the Gaviners have a rock-solid alibi. He couldn't have shot Mr. Latouche backstage. But Lammeror heard him. She heard Darien backstage. So we gotta think about the actual spot. Getting a water filled with thunderballs and raid missiles. You're saying Harp Note is really hard to hit? What did you think of my my Thunderball Star strategy? I was pretty happy with that. You basically have one turn where you drop 160s on everybody and you paralyze them. I was pretty hyped about that. It was fun to see that pay off on Cygnus. I was quite proud. The whole thing's making my head. Okay, there. Oh my gosh, I did have to talk to Trucy. Trucy, was that another one of your tricks? Wasn't me. I can't even make Mr. Hat laugh like that. Mr. Grammari. Whenever the mundane gives way to the miracles, a word is whispered. Grammari. Hey, the other day. Eek! Who's there? We didn't just imagine that, did we? We meet again! And could you please stop smirking like that? Ah! It's you, Uncle Valance! Uncle Valent? He's your uncle? No, silly, it's the great Grammari, Valent Grammari, the Grand Magician! Yes, it is I, the great Valent Grammari, as seen on television. It's been a while, Miss Trucy, 7 years to be precise. My, how you've grown. Good to see you again, Uncle Valent. You look exactly the same. I hate to intrude, but, what is a great magician doing paying us a visit? I believe it was you who wished to see me. So be quick with your questions. And do not quail, quake, or quiver, I am quite tame. Though my stardom may sear your sight, I'm quite down to earth when the need calls. He does have a certain aura to him, it's true. Let's ask him about the case. She's practically drooling with enthusiasm. Uncle Valent's one of Daddy's best friends. That's why I call him Uncle. You mean Mr. Wright? No, I mean my real daddy. Trucy's real father. So true, Leo. So true, Leo. Gold mystery datas are pretty fun in VN6, huh? Troop Grammari, huh? Does sound like kind of familiar. Oh, lost life! Lamentably listless lad. Do not know of the greatest troop of magicians on the planet. Valent Grammari. The name began to surface in my mind. It was a name I heard on television as a child. You bet you've heard the name. He made a cruise ship disappear and blew up an amusement park. And he made all the gold disappear from a safe and then escaped from a high-security prison. You said he's a magician? I open the locks to hearts chained by mediocrity. This is the true miracle of Troop Grammari. What? I do remember seeing you on television a long time ago. Weren't you with someone else, like a duo? Yeah, you had a partner. Something Grammari. Yes, Zach Grammari. A masterful maker of magic. A capable crafter of shining showmanship. Why is everyone so quiet? Daddy. Daddy? Once upon a time, the Troop Grammari included 2 grand magicians. Myself, Valent Grammari, and my partner, Zach Grammari. He was my real daddy. Trucy's father, a magician. I guess it makes sense. I had no idea. There wasn't much point in talking about it. Not now that he's gone. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I'm not lonely. I got my daddy, after all. And you make me laugh, Apollo. Glad I'm good for comic relief, at least. Not that I see Daddy around all much these days. I've been remiss in remembering my own reasons for the visit. 2, in fact. The first being, of course, to see you, Miss Trucy. You don't know how happy I am to see you again, Uncle Valent. I'm sure you are. Not one for modesty, are you? When I encountered you at the Coliseum the first time in 7 years, I could fain contain my emotions. I wept oceans. And now to learn that you defend that poor pianist, that blinded boy. 'Twas a hot topic of talk amongst the staff, you know. And defend him you did. Well, it wasn't all my doing. I'm his defense attorney, actually. My other reason for coming here today was this. That's a videotape? Quite so, a recording of the concert, no less. I brought it for you, Trucy, on behalf of Troop Grammari. Will you watch it? We are going to listen to this a lot. But that is her daddy. I guess it's weirder when it's not your biological daddy. Look at these DS graphics. I love this. We're gonna see the fire. Take my love away, all away. Wow, it's almost as good as it was live. So what's the word? Mysterious? I hate more mysterious things than that. Ah, ha, 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 ha. This valiant Grammar has good reason to be here today. But I wonder what his reasons were to be at that concert. What were his reasons to be at the concert? The internet today has truly ruined that. That is true. When this game came out, it was not as bad, was it? So I was wondering. That stunt in the middle of the song there. I didn't see a stunt. Oh, that? I guess I'm so used to seeing that happen I didn't even notice. A simple sleight of hand, a petite prestidigitation. A modicum of magic from me to you. So that's why we were at the concert, yes. I was there to watch my trick take to the air. So no one who knows how it was all done. Of course, I'm like a deity with the stage as my domain. I suffer no mystery upon these floodlit boards, not grasped betwixt my fingers. I'm a potent primeval power I possess. Could you tell me how it was done? Hey now. That's like totally against the rules, Apollo. Not during a murder investigation, it's not. None, for my illusions are mine alone, monsieur. Also, recall that the terrible occurrence happened later. Well after my illusion entranced the audience. Don't even ask, I won't answer. Too bad for you, Apollo. Whose side are you on? I, Valiant Grammar, I now make my leave, Miss Trucy. There's no need to rush, Uncle Valiant. You should stay a while. I'm afraid I cannot, I must be. Maybe I shall not. I've been asked to assist with the analysis, and so I shall slink back to the scene. So you'll be at the concert venue today? Correct. If you would call on me, come to the Coliseum. See you later, crocodile. Wait, he didn't say see you later, alligator. He turned and walked out the door, normally. There you go, Apollo. Let's get cracking. Valiant Grammar, I got a few more things to ask him. That bit of magic that made Lamoureux disappear. And how he knows Trucy and her real father. Okay, so that's what we had to do. We had to talk to Trucy. This makes sense. So maybe now some more stuff might occur. Lamoureux is still here. Why don't we check the stage out? Okay. That song! Isn't that the one Lamoureux was singing? You're right, the Guitar Serenade. I'd come to see that. The house is full, and as one, the audience sighs with wonderment. There I am, singing my ballad, rose petals swirling through the air. Not bad. Wait, aren't you a magician? Oh. That's right, I was a magician, aren't I? Some dedication. He's back. Aha! If it isn't Miss Trucy, and indeed it is. What exactly are you doing here? I take a real responsibility on tasks undertaken. I am inspecting my equipment of illusion to make sure naught is amiss. The Lamoureux teleportation illusion. Should anything go wrong, it would reflect poorly upon me and my troupe. I went about my exacting examination. I happened to notice the piano. And I remember that fair lady's melancholy melody. Hey, Apollo, maybe Uncle Valiant can shed some light on this whole thing for us. Hey, Silver, no worries. I appreciate that. If you want to avoid spoilers, I totally get that. Really appreciate the lurk, Silver. I was wondering about the night of the show. Lamoureux's vanishing act was your illusion, right? Indeed, the purple prosecutor petitioned my performance. At the climax of the song, he said, make her disappear like a dream. Yet, what can I work on with a stage meant for musical endeavors? There are none of the conveniences of a stage built for the sorceress acts. It was a challenging task, and so I accepted. She disappeared from the top of the tower. But in order to move, you would have had to use some sort of secret tunnel. People come to me because I'm a professional among professionals. My illusions are custom made for a time and place. Now, because of the murder, all the eyes of the nation are on this concert. Not a bad thing as far as the fortunes of Troupe Grammari are concerned. So you were here checking up on your trick to make sure it went well. And it went well, it did. Now speak of pianos. That piano over there troubles me. Why? Why do you ask why? I think it's probably quicker if I just go check it out myself, thanks. That's one big piano. I never actually played one. Should get Mr. Wright to teach us sometime. No good. He can't play either. Maybe now's my big chance. Stand back. This could be the debut of a prodigy. Ew. Did you make that noise just now? Let me try it again. You know, I think something's stuck in the piano. Time to take a look under the hood. Huh? Look, this was stuck between the strings. Looks like some sort of switch. Here for justice! We got Blue Ace! Justice shall be served. Grammari, yes, you say. I recall seeing him on television. Something of that sort. Actually, yes, you're right. Wow, he just read your mind, Apollo. Or everyone tells him that and he made a good guess. It was 20 years ago. A young magician, a genius of his time, came down among us. His name was Magnifi Grammari. It was he who began the great troupe Grammari. At his prime, not a day passed that he did not play upon the screens of every TV there was. I do have a vague memory of someone like that on TV. Yet several years ago, that time came to an end. My troupe pulled off a vanishing act, yes. Cries for magic no longer heard. The TV screen, a barren waste, stripped of illusion. Like that one in the parking lot down the supermarket. We hone our skill at these small venues, always awaiting our time. Yes, one day we will rise up from obscurity onto fame's shining stage once more. I do this not only for Grammari, but for my partner. Yes, Zach Grammari, Trucy's father. Before he disappeared 7 years ago, there was no name higher than the Grammari show business. I will see us return to glory. Our founder, Magnifi Grammari, was truly a genius. He made that whole jumbo jet go... what happened to the jet again? My net's going well, Blue Ace. So nice, really nice of you to ask. Yes, going very, very well. We're in the middle of this spicy little case. Yeah, how about you? How's your day been going? In no time at all, Val and I were the shining stars in the Grammari crown. And Zach Grammari was my daddy. Now that Magnifi and Zach are gone, I have but one wish. Let it be I, Val Grammari, who made the Grammari miracle back on the big stage. Miss Trucy, you cannot grow up quick enough. I need your skill by my side. One skill, coming up. How do you manage to get off the topic of the case so quickly all the time? I was wondering about the stunt in the video, right in the middle. I didn't see a stunt. Oh, I've already asked about this, didn't I? It's against the rules to ask a magician. Yes, even without context could be a relative, it's true. This is very true, just based on their outfits, huh? Aren't you part of the same secret club? Words cannot express my shock and chagrin. Alright. I'm gonna guess that we're good enough here for now. That switch is very interesting, to be sure. It's a big instrument case. Yeah, honestly, how's everyone else's night going? It's Wednesday, halfway through the week. Did anyone watch the PlayStation stream? The big state of affairs they had? I was pretty hyped for that Sonic and Shadow Generations. Okay, let's try going to the dressing rooms. Okay, okay. Nothing there. We'll go to Lamoureux's. Okay, okay. I guess we could show her the trick. Because maybe she would talk about it. Took a look at your performance again. It was even better the second time. That reminds me. That was an incredible illusion you pulled off. Hey, you bought some tarot cards. What were your tarot cards like? Any particular designs? They hired a professional magician. Do you think you could tell us how it was done? I'm afraid I cannot. Mr. Grandma made me swear to never tell a soul. Hard to be a magician if you can't keep a secret, you know. I'm reminded that I wish to speak to you about something. When I was walking this hallway before, I stumbled upon a small device of some kind. It was lying on the floor. You mean this? Might I touch it? I thought as much. This is one of our headsets. Everyone on staff wears one during a concert. Wonder whose this is. We use it for communication. It would be quite inconvenient for it to go missing. We'll give it to Prosecutor Gavin when we see him. Genshin Impact theme for tarot cards. Everyone on the staff was wearing one of the headsets. That might warrant some kind of injury. Or investigation. Oh, I get it. Maybe we gotta show that to Machi. Retro, great question. I thought the very first game they showed off looked kind of interesting. It was called Stellar Blade. I thought it looked kind of cool. I would also say Death Stranding 2 seemed interesting. I haven't played the first one, but it's a Kojima game, so, you know, there's definitely some spice there. Lou Pelvis? Don't take my evidence away. My evidence is very important. Very, very important evidence, okay? Okay, I would have thought that maybe he'd know about that. Okay, okay. Odd. I wonder who to show this stuff to. Maybe... Let's see, we left Lamaror. At least I thought we did. Can I ask you about this headset, Lamaror? It said all concert staff were wearing one. You need them to communicate across a large stage. Everyone had one, and all the band members too. So Gavin and his lackeys had them on too, then. They're quite helpful, though limited. They only work within 30 feet or so. A stronger signal would interfere with the sound. I think someone would notice that they dropped their only communications. Iceman! Oh no, Iceman and BN2. Well, that's sweet of you to say, Blue Ace. I appreciate that, man. Because let me tell you, freaking, what's his face? Yeah, I guess that is his name. Is his name Iceman? No, Iceman's is BN1. What's his name? Oh, I'm totally blanking here. Freezeman, I believe is the name. Yes. There we go, finally. More snackoos. There's only one person I know who can munch with such venom. What are you doing here? Hey, Emma. You're looking as grumpy as ever. Oh, am I supposed to be happy? You give me the second degree in court, and Prosecutor Gavin makes me look like a fool. Talking about the bloodstain Mr. Latou's left. My department chief had a field day with that one. Even a blind person could see the shooter wasn't blind. Funny guy, huh? Now you know Mr. Latouche was in there with Interpol. Maybe that's why the chief gave me these after he was finished chewing me out. Said it was my reward. Are chocolate snackers popular down at the precinct? I was hoping we could check out the crime scene again. Be my guest. You're not going to find any clues in here. Though I did find something strange. But yeah, for real, Freezeman is the worst. Such an annoying scenario. I met my embarrassment quota for the year, that's for sure. How? I mean, think about it. Now you don't have to be embarrassed about anything else all year. If only it worked like that. Just bugs me to think that little kid outsmarted me. And it makes me even more suspicious now that we know we can see. He could have seen the air duct and he could have shot that revolver. But that's not how it sounded in Lamora's testimony. You mean her saying that she heard Detective Darian's voice at the scene? Why can't we have a normal, straightforward killing once in a while? I'll pretend I didn't hear that. Was it true what you said in court today? You know, at the case? About how everything was happening according to that song lyric? The guitar serenade, you mean? I'm with Retro. May the stress of Freeze Man be over soon. I like it. Yeah, at a certain point, you just gotta drop those gators. I like to use Gut Shoot a lot too when I play it. Have you guys heard about that patch that takes away the letter G from the entire game? No G code. I would be I'm kind of interested in playing it. You think the same person did this? Don't ask me, I didn't do it. Neither did I. I couldn't fit through that air vent anyway. So, what'd you find? So little I must have passed it over yesterday. I found it under the sofa. Some part of a device, I think. I haven't a clue what. The bit sticking out from the end looked familiar, so I had it examined. Turns out it's an antenna. Like on a cell phone, this device must use an electronic signal of some sort. Yeah, no G... Well, think about that. No G-code means no gator. No gator or Gut Shoot, which are probably the most busted stuff you can do. The murder weapon. So it belonged to Mr. Latouche. Oh, I get it. We're supposed to show her the other switch. Doesn't that have to be about his size? Max out elect guts and run a bit of elect chips. That's fun. Yeah, he takes so much damage because he has his own ice panels, right? Do you think you could take a look at this? A small device. Looks like a transmitter. You press the switch here and it sends out a signal. You mean an electronic signal? Say, Emma, you know that strange object you found? Let me try pressing the switch. Youch! It's on fire! What's the big idea? She slapped me. Well, now we know what this is, an igniter. It must work like a lighter. Hey, don't look at me like that. I didn't do it on purpose. I suppose. At least we're getting somewhere with this case. Hey, Apollo, let's ask Emma more about the switch. Yeah, I think the elect balloon is really fun, right? Elect balloon, you can do some really massive damage. Blue Ace. Oh my gosh! Yo, Vampirates! Hello, everybody! Hello, hello! Oh my goodness! How's everyone doing tonight? Hold up, let's go full screen and say hello. Hello, everybody! Hope you guys are all doing really well. My name is Scoutmaster Demi. It's so nice to have you in here. We love Vampirate. She is the only other streamer I know who tries very hard to not have, like, what's the word? To not have, she tries to keep it wholesome. I try to do the same thing. Hello, welcome in, everybody. I'm also starting a challenge this year. I'm trying to play every single Nintendo DS game. I'm starting in alphabetical order, so I'm starting with Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. If you can see in my game, I'll go right back to it in just a second. You can see I've done 0 out of 17, 1,735. That's so many games. Now, to be fair, Vampirate, I'm not trying to beat them all necessarily, because there's a lot of shovelware. I would say 3/4 of the DS library is shovelware. So, don't you worry, okay? But we are starting with a good one. This is very true. Vampire, are you a big Ace Attorney fan? They're really good games. They're really, really good games. I'm a huge fan of the Ace Attorney games. I've actually got collectible stuff if anyone wants me to show off some collectible stuff. Did we just get double rated? Holy cow. Norman, nice to have you in here too. Hey there, Norman. Oh man, what the heck, you guys? I have some really cool Ace Attorney collectibles though, for sure. If anyone wants to see them, I've got a little show and tell. They're very, very fun. Norman, how are you tonight? And Vampire, what were you playing? Can we get a shout out for Vampire? Yeah, double rate, let's go. You're also playing the DS version. Are you serious? Wait, that's funny, Norman. That's crazy. What are the odds? Hey, everybody. That's so funny. I love it. Yeah, I feel like the Ace Attorney games are really solid. I love me some visual novels. Though these are really the visual novels that got me into visual novels in general. Played the first one on stream before. It took forever. Okay, Vampire, to be fair, the very first Ace Attorney is by far the longest game. Like, by far the longest game. And that's because every case in that game has 3 days. You'll be happy to know that basically every other Ace Attorney game, only 2 days of cases. Investigating and trials. So it's like way shorter. In fact, most of the games have only 4 cases instead of 5. So yeah. So don't feel like it would be super exhausting to keep playing them. They're really fun. They're really good and way shorter. Yeah, which is great, right? Because as fun as the game is, you don't want to drag on forever. Turnip Boy robs a bank. Doesn't Turnip Boy also commit tax evasion? How was Turnip Boy robs a bank? How did that go? Now we know it's a remote for Igniter. Let me see that for a second. Well, this is definitely a little transmitter. The signal's weak, probably because it only reaches 30 feet. We love Turnip Boy. There must be a bunch of Turnip Boy. I didn't realize there were so many Turnip Boy games in their series. If you look at a cross-section diagram of the stage area. Let's see. 30 feet from Lamoureux's dressing room. Okay, really quick. I'm going to try my best to explain it to folks who just popped in here what the case is. So basically, this is at a concert. There was a big rock concert. In fact, the prosecution, his name is, here, I'll swap the screens. His name is Clavier Gavin. He is a rock star. He's a prosecutor and a rock star. It was his rock show that we were able to hang out at. Now, the manager of a big superstar was killed, and he was also a secret Interpol agent. We just found that out at the end of the last trial. This is Lamoureux. She was a big singer in this case. The defendant is this 14-year-old boy, Machi Tobe. The two of them are, like, they work together to try and be musicians and have a bit of a show with some PR. But at the very, very end of the trial, this woman, Lamoureux, accused this detective of being the murderer who shot the gun. And it gets even more complicated because this detective is a guitarist who also works with the prosecutor and had their show that same night. Crazy case. Feel free to ask me any questions. Yeah, Project Crosszone 2. Absolutely, I played that game. Yes, you include in the list to play due to Phoenix Wright. Yeah, Project Crosszone is very fun. Those games are long. You want to talk long games. Both Project Crosszone 1 and 2 are very long. I wish the combat were more fun too, to be honest with you. It's kind of boring. It's really fun at first because you do a lot of really flashy attacks, but the enemies don't fight back. And the tactics that you do in the games aren't very fun, if you ask me. So I don't know. Overall, the game's kind of mid. But it is really fun to have all the characters come together and interact. That's really, really fun. And it is very flashy. If you like anime-style combat, you'll have a fun time with it. Kind of seems unlikely that anyone would use this on stage. We got a 4M diagram. Guess I best be getting on with my investigation. We'll have to look for more clues elsewhere, then. I feel better just knowing what this thing is now. I'll have to look into igniters a bit more later. Good luck! I'd like to learn more about igniters myself. Also, I think this girl, Trucy, this is probably... Vampire is a VTuber, but I bet you this is what she looks like in real life. I bet you that. This we're just playing right now with Vampire. Such a fun game. Recommend. Very entertaining for streaming. Yes. Turnip Boy? Turnip Boy? I'd love to play them. I would love to play the Turnip Boy games. They just sound really silly. I've never actually played them or even seen them in action. But, if you're still playing them, Vampire, I'll have to pop in on you and see what you're up to when it comes to some Turnip Boy action. Okay. We could go back to the dressing room. I don't think that's necessary. That's true, but you know, Blaze Blue is actually a fighting game, where Project Crosszone is not. Project Crosszone is kind of like it's really weird. It's kind of hard to put into words because there's a grid, like there's tactics that you do in Project Crosszone, just like walking around doing stuff. But then, like, when you try to fight somebody, it turns into like a fight mode, but the enemy doesn't move or anything. You're basically just juggling a stationary enemy, which again, it's flashy and it's fun for a little bit. But it's what? Come to laugh at the murderer? Darian. That old bag opens up her pie hole and wham bam. My life goes down the chute, thanks. They won't let me work while I'm a suspect. Darian isn't in the best of moods, is he? Not many people are these days, it seems. It is a crime scene, not exactly the happiest place to hang out. Then Gavin had to go rub salt in the wound. My alibi's rock solid. Rock solid. But yeah, BlazBlue isn't actually like a real game, you know, in terms of combat and fighting. But yeah, Project Crossroad not so much. You're basically just trying to juggle the enemy as much as possible. You have to ask, the shooting happened right in the middle of the third set. The music was blurring when we heard those gunshots and found Mr. Latouche dead. I've got 10,000 witnesses who saw me too, right there on that stage. Your guitar playing was something else. Thanks, little lady. See? The whole thing's a sham. I can't believe they aren't letting me work. You don't need to yell at me. It's Lamoureux's fault. She was the one who said she heard his voice at the moment of the crime. Man, I never even talked to that old windbag. How could she possibly identify me? Kind of Blue Ace. Old Tales games, true, but again, Old Tales games, they fight back and they move around. In Project Crossroad, the enemy is like, it's basically a doll. The enemy just stands there and just takes your beating. Then they have their turns and then they attack you, and then you stand like a doll. It's kind of odd. He won't let me work. Gavin says I gotta lie low until the suspicion is cleared. What suspicion? He can be such a stick in the mud. He may look all flashy and showy, but he's straight as an arrow, man. Except when he's depressed. You hear him whine the other day? Oh, you mean the thing with the mixing board? And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? Taki, why not? Why not just a demo? Why not play the real one? What is it? Second guitar. It was you, Darian. He's just a perfectionist is all. Not a bad guy, really. Well, I think the Gaviners are the best. I have all your albums. The band's fine, too. Gavin can write a good tune, I'll give him that. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Prosecutor Gavin around recently. He's down at the prosecutor's office, most likely. Never been there, have I? The data on the victim should have come in from Interpol. Normally, I'd be down there dealing with it. Apollo, let's go check it out. I've always wanted to see a prosecutor's office. Right on. Say hi for me, okay? Oh, and also screw you. And tell him I want into that crime scene. Hey, wait. Yes? What do you really think happened? Really? You don't think I did it, right? Well... Great. Way to instill a guy with some confidence. Just remember, I was ripping it up on stage when it happened, okay? Ripping. Don't get led astray by some siren song, eh? Get this one wrong and you'll be eating humble pie for a year. I'll bake it myself. He definitely looks like a JoJo character. Straight Josuke. Detective Darian Crescent. He's one stone I'd leave unturned if I had the chance. Alright. Gavin's office. Wow, look at his office. Look at this. So, this is it. The Gaviner's head office. It's not the band's office, it's the prosecutor's office. Yes, that's why I'm asking. What is this creepy thing, object, whatever? Looks like he's on the phone. We'll have to come back later. Or we can hide behind that bookshelf real quiet-like. That's eavesdropping. Why? We'd just be waiting quietly so we didn't notice. What if we heard something scandalous about the band? She'd make for a good reporter. What? A replica? So why was he after it in the first place? Yeah, Latouche. Look, don't talk to me about those Borginians, okay? Just get me that report, chop chop. And stop leaving mysterious objects in my office, okay? It's times like these when I start to miss Darian. Huh? Hey, hiya. Tee-hee, just thought we'd drop in. Hope you're not mad. You know, Taki, I might be down to sell you my crappie. I'm pretty sure I still have the cartridge lying around somewhere. How could I be? There's not enough Tee-hee in the world. Have a seat. Prosecutor Gavin, the philanthropist. Watch and learn, Apollo. So, who have you come to see? Clavier, lead vocalist for the Gaviners, or Prosecutor Gavin, scourge of the courtroom? What do you think he means, Apollo? I think he's giving us a choice. We can either ask him about the concert or the case. Which way to go? First of all, let's examine this crazy guitar. That was an impressive bit of pyrotechnics that did this. That's the guitar from the concert, isn't it? I thought it was one of the staff playing a gag on me. I never guessed that wasn't the end of it. I had a specialist analyze that guitar. He didn't have a lot of time, so it's still unclear. But the results he came up with were intriguing. How does that guitar tie into everything that went on? Sounds like something we should ask about. Hey, Lulu! We have been... Lulu, remind me, have you played Apollo Justice? I think you have. Do you remember this case in particular? Because I could give you the full story if you forget it or not. That reminds me, you see the paper today? I always read the TV section. Good girl. How about you here, forehead? I read the funnies. Then you will not have seen this. Concert of Tragedy, the prosecutor's deadly song. Oh, is that a new show? It's not a show. It's an article. News, you know. Since getting back from the trial, my phone has been ringing off the hook. How does it feel to take a man's life with a song? Have you ever hummed a man all the way to death row? Think you could sing for me over the phone? It's endless, endless. Thanks for the case you made today. Oh, that was all Apollo's idea. Is that a newspaper over there too? Ah, yes, the Burkinian Daily Bugle. Go ahead, take a look. That is true. All the cases are wild, Kelvin. This is very true. Thanks, but I can't read Burkinian. Suffice it to say, this is big news over there as well. They didn't go so far as to mention the lyrics of the song. Probably no one in Burkinia could believe it. It's probably seen as just a theory at this point. Their journalists don't have the need to mention it. Good point, Taki. That's always the free way to go. Her testimony will be in the evening section. Yeah, we ran into him moping about in front of the Coliseum. Lamoureux was my invited guest, so it's a rather delicate situation. You understand how much I want to solve this case. Quickly, if possible. That's true! I forgot about the pants. Lewis, have you finished this entire game too? You co-wrote with Lamoureux, if I remember right. That's right. It was last year. I'd gone to tour Burkinia's legal system, as a matter of fact. And that's when you heard Lamoureux's voice. It was at a small jazz club. I wept that night. I knew I had to meet her to talk with her. I used my influence, which is not inconsiderable, to arrange a meeting. I think he's sort of a special case, Jersey. Thankfully, she liked the work I did, and we wrote a song right there backstage. Machi on piano, that dulcet voice, and myself on a guitar that I borrowed from Lamoureux. And music history was made. Probably not an experience your average lawyer would ever have. It is a memory I hold dear, and the song we wrote that night was this. That very guitar is right over there. It's only brown, not really charred. No matter, I shall never sing that song again. I wouldn't have used that guitar again either, even if I could have. Why does guitar suddenly catch on fire? Think you could show it to us? Your charred, slightly burned guitar? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamoureux. How did it end up there? She gave it to me. I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So the guitar is from Burkinia. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruined the wood, so we vacuum packed it in Lamoureux's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it straight up to the office from me. Oh, are you talking about the official works, Blue Ace? I love that. If so, that's a great book. It's amazing art. I still think it's a special case. Such a valuable guitar. It's too bad it got burned. What was it you were saying earlier? Something about intriguing results from an examination of the guitar? That's right. What was that all about? Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It's called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device. The examiner is busy with evidence for the case. He'll be checking this out once he's finished with everything else. Ah, that device looks strangely familiar. That's a great book. The official complete works. And same with the Star Force one, too. Excuse me, did you say something? This remote control might be valuable ammunition for the trial tomorrow. It's too early to show my hand now. You'd think someone with such a loud voice would speak more clearly, yeah? Has to be one of these. What is it, Apollo? That device that was found in your guitar. Take a look at this. Why, that looks like the same thing. What is it? It's an igniter. Another one. It was at the crime scene in Lamoureux's dressing room. Detective Sky found it, actually, at the scene of the crime. What could that mean, I wonder? My apologies, but there's no way I'm going to talk details about the case with you. If you want to get my attention, bring me something dramatic. Here to get your information. What else should we show him? Ooh, maybe he'll tell us about the music or the illusion. I guess not. He should definitely look in a mirror if he wants dramatic. Alright, let's try going back to the detention center. Maybe Machi will tell us more. This was found in the piano, after all. Okay. Still ignoring us, still ignoring us. Gotta be something we can show him that shows that he can speak English. I guess we don't have it currently. What else would we show Gavin? Maybe we gotta examine something in his office? Oh, what's this? What's that on the plate there? Gum? Maybe he was chewing it when the phone rang, so he put on the plate for later consumption. Don't jump to any conclusions now. That's not chewing gum. Take a closer look. Although I really shouldn't be offering, should I? Looks like a lump of plastic? Wait, that phone call. What's this creepy thing? Object. Looks like Prosecutor Gavin's on the phone. It's a replica. Wait a second. You were listening to my phone call, were you? Hey, you're the one digging for a scandal, Miss Reporter. To tell the truth... Oh, wow. Typo. A rare typo. I'm not even sure what this is. But apparently it's a model of something the undercover agent was after. This lump? Would you mind telling us what you do know about it? That strange lump. This was found in Mr. Latusse's bag. It's apparently a replica. A small lump. We analyzed it, but there's not much to say other than it's a lump of plastic. Perhaps used in the identification of whatever it's a replica of. Seems to be the most logical explanation. Don't ask me, Fraulein. Oh, if you don't want to tell us, you could say so. I put in a request for Interpol to have my contacts in Borginia, but apparently there's a block on information somewhere along the chain. Something Interpol doesn't want to tell Borginia. Something about this little piece of plastic. Went through all that trouble just to come to this country to find out more about this lump, and he died for it. I sent someone to call soon to fetch Lamaror. Perhaps she knows something about it, being a Borginian. I believe that covers everything about Liberty to talk to you about. Thanks for dropping by, Her Forehead. Why, you give me so much information. That igniter, for instance. I've never met an attorney so forthcoming with the prosecution. It's a big help. Or perhaps you're just a tad naive, I guess I could have hit it, but somehow showing it felt like the right thing. I could say the same to you, Prosecutor Gavin. Thanks for the information. About the strange lump of plastic. The one that Mr. Latousse was investigating. Hey, that's right. I've been thinking here, Forehead. We encounter many incidents in our lives, all of us, not all of them simple. Especially not the ones where people are killing to song lyrics. That's why I try to at least remain simple on the inside and keep a simple goal to discover the truth. That's why I like to keep relations civil, yeah? That is all. I can live with that. Mr. Prosecutor? Fraulein? Can I ask why you sing in a band? Ah, because I want women to turn and look when I walk down the street. That's pretty simple, too. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got work to do. That's funny. He's a prosecutor for the truth, and he wants women to chase him. Okay, okay. Visitor's room. Looks like Machi's in questioning. Wish we could talk to him. Guess I'll just have to come back later. They got a Borginian interpreter. I guess we gotta go back to the stage. Lamor is coming outside to do some testifying. Oh, it's you! You came at a good time. Hello there, Emma, what's up? Either of you know where Lamor is? Well, I saw her in the backstage hallway a while back. That's strange. I can't find her anywhere. I was supposed to bring her to the prosecutor's office. Hard to imagine her wandering off somewhere on her own, being that she's blind and all. Yeah, we'll help you look for her. Can't find her anywhere. July 9th. This place is deserted. Wonder where she ran off to. Sure she's okay on her own. She seems resourceful. They do look kind of similar, Blue Ace. They do. Who do you think is cuter? I like Emma a lot, actually. I like science girls. It's pitch black. The power breaker must be off for the section. Great. Oh, the guitar case is closed. Dark. That's all Lamor has when you think about it. What would it be like to live in a world of darkness? Hey, Apollo. Doesn't something seem strange about this to you? Like something's changed? Can't put my finger on it, but it's bugging me. Now it's bugging me too. What's she talking about? She does. She definitely does. And Trucy is naive. This is also very true. Plus that little magician's outfit's really cute. Wasn't that open before? I guess someone closed it. Yeah. I'm so with you, Lulu. I'm glad they kind of tied her together. I thought that was really fun. I love that she's still, like, really loyal to Mr. Wright, too. To Phoenix. Eek! Lamoror! Lamoror! Emma, we gotta get Emma. Lamor was taken directly to the hospital. Emma ran around barking orders, making phone calls. Trucy just clung to my arm and cried. And me, I was still in shock. 2 bodies in 2 days is too many. Emma, how's Lamoror? Is she okay? Ah, you. We owe you a big thanks, that's for sure. So, she's okay? Yes. She came to a short while ago. You found her before it was too late. So what happened? Someone attacked her. She was struck on the forehead. By who? We don't know. But they hit her on the forehead, right? That's right in front of her. How could you not... Oh. Right. Would you like to see her now? Is that alright? She wants to thank you for saving her life. That extra case in the first game, I'm really dying to replay that game at some point. Because I know it's a long case and that the first game's really long. But it's been a really long time since I played them. Those are some good stories. Damon Gant. Mr. Attorney, you were the one who found me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm just glad you're okay. Tell me what happened. It was after I spoke with you in front of the dressing room. I sensed someone approaching. Thought it might be someone to come see me, but they said nothing. When I went to return to my dressing room, you were hit. I knew at that very moment the assailant was trying to kill me. It was lucky for me the first blow didn't knock me out. I turned and ran for it. Someone was chasing me. I could hear footsteps, yet I turned to the stage first. I had overheard maintenance people talking. The power to the stage was off, they said, for electrical work. Darkness is my ally. There was a contrabass case somewhere near the stage. That's where you hid. So the assailant couldn't see you. Once I was in the case, I'm afraid I passed out. Sounds like a really close call. Do you have any idea who it was who might have been? Unfortunately, no. Whoever it was, they said not a word. Yet when I consider that I was struck high on the forehead, I must conclude that whoever hit me was taller than I am. She's sharp. And you're much taller than I am. You're about as tall as Apollo. That means it was likely an adult and likely a man. Could it be him? But why would anyone attack you, Lamoror? The detective asked me for this too. And to that I give the same answer, I do not know. Let's ask about the Borginian paper, or the Borginian replica. Lamoror, I wanted to ask you about this. Do you know what this is? This is what? Mr. Latouche was carrying it. It's a replica of the thing he was after. He was after. You know, in his secret identity, as an undercover agent. So that's what he was doing. Yes, I know, of course. This must be a Borginian cocoon. Or rather a convincing replica thereof. Borginian cocoon. Why would he be carrying this around? Was it some sort of souvenir? I wonder. Well, they call it Borginian. It must only be found in Borginia. For certain, all in Borginia know of these. It's a cocoon, so you get silk from it? I do not know the details, I'm sorry to say. There is one fact I do know about the cocoon, though. Something that all in Borginia know. The cocoons, they are not to be taken out of the country. If someone does and is caught, they'll be put to death. To death? Why? I do not know. Yet if Interpol was involved, I'm sure there was a good reason. But it's just a piece of plastic. He was carrying a replica but looking for the real deal. That's my best guess. So what was he up to? Tracking down Borginian cocoon smuggling. It seems I was marked. Life changed for me with the popularity of my songs. I began to travel around the world. So, you could have brought these Borginian cocoons with you. On my trips, yes, that was probably the suspicion. And Mr. Latouche was placed as an undercover agent to look into it. Borginia is a small, sheltered country. Not many of our people venture into the world outside. Is that why they suspected you? But Mr. Latouche wasn't a Borginian, was he? He was an Interpol agent, which means... What, Apollo? There must have been some reason other countries don't want the cocoons out. Something scary enough to get Interpol involved. How could such a tiny ball of thread cause such a commotion? Cocoon smuggling, and Mr. Latouche had Lammeror marked. Couldn't be her. There's one other person I need to talk to. Thank you for talking to us, Lammeror. It's the least I could do. Actually, I have another request. I need an interpreter, someone who speaks Borginian. Apollo? Would you come with us if you're well enough? I see. Yes, of course. I shall accompany you. Where are we going? Trucy, we're about to get to the bottom of this. Tasty cocoons. Imagine. Machi, we came to talk to you about the case. Machi. Could you interpret for us, Lammeror? Yes. Machi, I'd like to talk to you about when we first met. When we still thought you were blind. This cute little kid. Now we know the truth. You can see, right? I was completely fooled myself. Machi, isn't there another secret you're hiding from us? Wait, Mr. Attorney. What do you mean by secret? What do I mean by secret? Well... Do you know what this is? Mr. Attorney, I don't need a translation to understand that. What? This was found in his piano. You're telling me you don't know about that? How is it not that? Maybe I have to show the igniter? Okay. I guess not. That, I mean, it was found in his freaking... I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not getting penalized by this. I would have thought for sure that would be a secret. Okay, I'm literally getting everything wrong. The fact that he would know the lyrics. Oh, there we go! The fact that he would have to know English. Oh, come on. Are you serious? If he wanted to replicate it. Is it really just the replica? If I'm not mistaken. We love our infinite tries. You know something about this, don't you? Hey, you got a reaction, a big one. Machi, you didn't. Trucy and I are trained to see through people's uncertainty. Not that we would have needed any training to see that one. Mr. Attorney, please tell me what this is all about. Lammeror, please interpret. I know you know something about this by your reaction. If you won't tell me, I might have to give it to the prosecution and have them look into it. He asked you to wait. Do not be so hasty. Why? Mr. Latouche had it, though. Do you know everything? Yes, everything. Well, sort of. Have him tell us about it. Very well. What is this cocoon anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. Must cure some sort of disease. It's a cure for incuritis. But if it's I love that it's called incuritis. Think of all the lives they could save by sharing the medicine. I do not know the reasons myself. At least we know what it is, a cure. And Mr. Latouche was after cocoon smugglers. Wait, was Machi... Machi, you weren't. He couldn't be a smuggler. He's so little. Well, you're only 15 and you're sort of a magician, aren't you? Well, that's true. I am sort of a magician. I would have a copy of that security tape. Are you a smuggler? He won't tell me. First he plays blind, now he plays dumb. I wonder, do you think he brought a cocoon here to sell it to someone? If Machi really did bring one into the country, was he planning on making a deal for its sale? I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Borginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon is death. That's right, it's punishable by death. About the case. He wants to tell us about Mr. Latouche's death? This meeting's over. Wow. Darien. What do you mean? Visiting hours aren't over yet. There's a call for Machi from the Virginian embassy. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call him back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy, we're leaving. Darien, wait. I never liked you, either of you. Jeez. Darn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo. He didn't want us to hear what Machi had to say. And now there can be only one reason for why. This is it. I know who I'm after now. It all happens tomorrow in court. Ooh. Alright, folks, I think I'm gonna call it there. We'll get the full case tomorrow. I really do love this game. Strong DS game to start off our journey with, I'll tell you that right now. Very dramatic. Extremely dramatic. Anyway, good night to all of you. Thanks for joining us in. Thank you for the 2 raids. I don't know if you're still here. Vampirates or Fox, but great to have both of you guys in. Really appreciate it. Spectrums. No, I'm gonna try to do it alphabetical, Lulu, but Lulu, if you look at the channel points, it costs a lot, but I'm down to play some DS games out of order if people spend channel points on it. So, yeah, gonna mostly do it alphabetical. So, I guess technically the next game would be Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, but I might want to mix it up and do some Advance Wars, so I might go a little bit out of order too. I don't know. It's kind of loosey-goosey at the moment, but generally speaking, I'm going to try to do it alphabetically unless people have me go out of order. So, anyway, good night, Retro, good night, Unfunny, good night, Lulu, good night, Dog Vader, good night, Blue Ace, good night, Leo. Sorry for some of the shovelware. There'll be a lot of shovelware. But honestly, part of me is most excited about the shovelware. Or rather, what seems to be shovelware, because I bet you there are some hidden gems that, like, you might not expect. And that's what I'm most interested in, the hidden gems. So there's a part of me that's morbidly curious, I have to say. But even so, yeah. And trust me, we won't necessarily be playing all of them to completion. We'll definitely be playing a little bit out of them. Yeah, we're not beating them all. Yeah, we'll probably play a good 15 minutes of many of them. Definitely not going to beat them all, just going to play them. Yeah, Woo is right. Anyway, good night to all of you guys. I'll catch you later. We'll have some fun times tomorrow for more of our streams. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll find someone fun to raid, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out, everybody. What's the general dummy operation? What's